Hello, welcome to another adventurous season of Pop Culture Minefield. I have my pinky out, so I'm being fancy.
Hi, Dieter.
Hello, ScriptDoctor. Would you like to pet my monkey?
Gosh, no.
ScriptDoctor is a good friend of Keith's and mine, and he is here live with us for our season premiere of Pop Culture Minefield.
Hey.
And hopefully we got another friend of ours going to be dropping in, some guy named Tom from Midnight's Edge, and we'll see. But the graphic only shows you, ScriptDoctor, because you're special.
I got my own bus when I went to school. I know.
Yes. Did you have to wear a helmet?
No, just a chest piece.
Hi, everybody. Keith here. I will be playing the part of the bad guy this evening. If you're someone who is definitely in love with everything that Warner Brothers has been doing over the last 20 years. So I think that's the only way to describe, what my views are. Maybe the wet blanket. I don't know. I just, anyone that has not read Zack Snyder's Vanity Fair interview, it is truly an eye-opening piece. And if you combine that with I think it was the Hollywood Reporter piece that came out just after the release of Justice League in 2017, it creates a pretty interesting picture of exactly what's been going on, and in my opinion, who could be who's definitely in the running to take full responsibility on the side of Warner Brothers as to why everything has wound up the way that it has. So that's me, and that's my opening statement. I relinquish my time now.
You take all the time you want, man. You created the show with me.
Yeah,
You're allowed
I know.
to talk all you want.
I just feel like I talk too much. Yeah.
No, you don't. You need to talk more.
Well,
I'm here to be the pretty face. You're here for the talking.
Let's just get to it. Everybody has seen the news. Looks like JJ has finally set upon his first major salvo in staking his claim to what he would like to do at Warner Brothers and what he's doing as far as the DC film universe is concerned. First of all, let me just ask. I mean, what are your thoughts?
What are my thoughts on JJ Abrams and Superman or any DC property?
Well, let's just go with JJ and Superman at this point.
Not good. I read Flyby. I mean, I've not really liked JJ Abrams as a creative director since just before Lost. I think he should stick to producing and stick to just finding the money and selecting the creatives themselves and let them do their own thing and not meddle in it. But he's an egocentrist. He's one of the few directors who marketed himself like a celebrity actor. Like, directors rarely did talk shows before him. Like, he was the guy who would show up and at like the Tonight Show or Late Night with David Letterman or any of those types of shows to talk about his movies and stuff. Steven Spielberg never did that. Martin Scorsese rarely did that.
I think he took a different tack on that because I think
because he cares more about himself than the project he's at.
And Brett Ratner was the same way, but Brett focused not on doing television interviews, even though he did.
Yeah,
he focused on the partying aspect and hanging out with all of the famous people, like he was uber famous himself.
Yes,
he acted like he was the hot Hollywood thing, and he would go to different parties. Yeah. So
we got some comments over here. We got Wolvie says Jar Jar Abrams, destroyer of IPs, which I concur wholeheartedly. Kieran, our good friend, says Warner Brothers are Sony level stupid nowadays. Yeah.
All they need is an email leak.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And again, we're getting to that. We are getting to that.
And hello, Socks. It's nice to see you on here, man.
Any other views? I mean,
no, everybody else says we're garbage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, except for Yeti.
Yeah. I actually invited Yeti in because he was one of the first ones I invited to join us today. So it's up to him. I sent him Yeti, I sent you a private message over on Twitter. You can join if you want to.
At this point, let me at least just get down to this part of it. If you're one of those people that have been following our show for quite a while, you know how Gary and I have been trying to follow exactly what Warner Brothers has been attempting to do. We've tried to we've tried to draw lines between things. We've tried to follow. We've tried to, in certain instances, we even tried to really be cheerleaders. We've tried to help guide them in our own way. That Vanity Fair interview pretty much shows that there's almost no hope as long as Toby Emmerich continues to run things from his position at Warner Brothers. And for those of you who have never heard that name before, there's a reason for that. Very powerful man. Very powerful man.
Didn't he play Spider-Man?
He's accidentally powerful, actually. He has his position because everybody above him has been fired.
Basically.
He's sort of like Alex Kurtzman. He fails upward.
Well, the thing is, he doesn't even really fail. He's just there. So we haven't really seen him test.
I misuse that.
Yeah. But no, you're kind of right.
Because Alex Kurtzman is just there when people get fired or quit, and then he gets elevated. And he's got no skills.
From that. And then he fails from that. However, Toby, from my understanding, from the little rumorings I hear from other stuff, is that he's competent at his job, so he doesn't necessarily fail, but the people above him do get fired, and he just fills their position, and his entire thing is trying his best to not I'm a little distracted by the Ruppel foreskin there, but aside from that, he's just trying not to
Yeti. No, it's Charlie.
Charlie. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Charlie.
Hi.
Charlie, guys, is our editor and director for the show. I didn't expect you to pop in the middle of the live cast.
Didn't know what you were doing, so
I sent you the thing, so I guess you didn't see it. Okay. What's on your shirt there, buddy?
That's Batman.
Batman.
Oh, Batman. Wrong shirt. We're doing Superman. Jesus Christ.
I got mine on.
Charlie and I go back a long ways. He's not a childhood friend of mine. He is a teen friend of mine. I met him in 1982. We became chums. Our first best friend date was to go see My Favorite Year with Peter O'Toole. And what a great movie. Great memory. And Charlie, I used to go hang out with Charlie at WFVA in Fredericksburg. It was a radio station. Did a little ad that Dick Rossi, the station manager, did not like. It aired once, and it was pulled the minute he got to work, or some shit like that.
The drunk morning man loved it.
Yeah, he was a drunk. He was a falling down drunk.
He actually drove that area where that station was located. It was an area called Prairie Farms, and it was on a divided highway. It had like this wooded area. He always stopped at the 7-Eleven at one end of that. And I went into 7-Eleven in the morning. He says, "Oh my God, did Parker make it to work this morning?" I said, "Why?" "Well, he drove up the wrong side of the divided highway to get to you." So it's like, oh crap.
Oh, hey, I just learned something. Hold on. Hey, I didn't know how to do that. I can show it. What's up, Zack? I didn't know I could do that.
Zack.
And then we got Socks at the time is the same bad category as Avi Arad, Amy Pascal, Tom Rothman, John Peters. Completely agree, my friend.
So far, he's
Completely.
definitely going to make a staple in there with the current decision-making skills he's had. Don't have any stories about how he's, from the street or more like Superman than anyone else or any of those types of stuff yet. But who knows what will happen in a few years.
Yeah.
Now, Zack, of course, is a film guy, and we follow him, and he follows us, and I really like Zack. He's my third favorite Zack. Number one, Zack Snyder. Number two is Zack, the actor from Christmas Story, who's a friend of mine, and then Zack Leary. So, and by the way, I only know 3 Zacks.
You could make a sitcom called My Three Zacks.
My 3 Zacks. But I will say this, Zack. If I met more Zacks, you would still be number 3. And then we got a comment from Kieran. Add Walter Hamada to that list. Of course, Keith loathes. It's hard to say that word. Loathes. Adding that S at the end.
I don't hate Walter Hamada.
You loathe him. You loathe him. I have spoken privately with you. Don't hide it. Don't be.
I understand what he's trying to
politics,
do, but
you fucking loathe Walter Hamada. I think he's a nice guy. You're the one that's being an asshole.
You got me.
We don't know yet what to expect with Walter Hamada at this point. It's, but I would say that, listen, there's plenty of doubt going around in the higher ups of Warner Brothers, but on the AT&T side, that's a little bit more close to the chest. I don't hear much going on there other than the fact that they're kind of rolling the dice for both these sides. They're rolling the dice to see what's going to happen with Warner Brothers, and they're rolling the dice to see what's going to happen with Zack Snyder. And sadly, based on patterns, odds are that AT&T is going to lose on both rolls. They're not going to hit the goal that they want on both sides of those bets.
Well, there's no way they're letting go of JJ after giving him $500 million. He's going to be allowed to do something no matter what.
That's sort of like, looking at a catalog and picking something that looks good in the catalog, paying for it, and then getting it in the mail and finding out it's 1/3 the size and doesn't fucking work.
Which is actually exactly how you describe JJ Abrams. He's 1/3 the size of a human being.
1/3
and
the
doesn't
size.
really work.
That's why I used it. Because he's a tiny
short
little
man.
fucking.
I thought you were talking about Gary's penis.
Hey, nobody's seen my penis, not even me. So stop that. I don't know where that thing is.
How's it going,
Down
Yeti?
somewhere. Welcome to the show, Yeti.
Thank you.
The
first thing I say was a penis joke.
I have to at least say this. As far as JJ Abrams goes, and I've made my thoughts on him pretty clear over the years. I think in this particular instance, if it is true that he's going to go with the Calvin Ellis version of Superman for his Superman film, my challenge to him is, why not just stay on course to adapt all of the characters that came in with that character? If he decides to develop his version of DC based on that version of the DC universe, I take back 1/4 of the things I've ever said, and I wholeheartedly support moving forward with all of what he's going to do.
Was that Earth 7? Earth
Something
7?
like that. It's I think they call it Earth 23 is what it is. And so that's Nubia.
Oh, right, because he was debuted in Final Crisis number 7 is when he debuted. That's why I'm getting confused. Okay.
So that's Nubia as Wonder Woman. It's pretty much all of the black heroes that they have in DC, with the exception of Batman. I think Bruce Wayne is still Batman in that version of the universe. But if he does that, that's a radical move that nobody sees coming. I wholeheartedly get behind that. I applaud you, sir. Even though it kind of screws Milestone Media, I still applaud you. And that It's subverting expectations if he does that. But
No,
something
it's not. It's
tells
just
me
a welcome surprise. A subversion of expectations is a disappointment all around. There's nothing disappointing about going with Calvin Ellis, who is like Barack Obama Superman because he's the president in that timeline.
Mhm.
But yeah, like doing those other characters, that would be fine, I guess. I mean, if he does them well, that's the other part
Yes.
too. Is he going to do them well, or is he going to do a disservice to them?
Well, I mean, if that happens, that clears the way for The Rock to basically become the main guy over here by staying with all of the more well-known DC characters, since he's talking about the Justice Society and he seems to love a lot of what Zack has done. If they're going to do this and they decide to divide it like that, I see nothing wrong. There's not much of an issue other than when we can expect it and what actors they're going to go after, at least on JJ's side, to help fill out the cast of characters necessary for him to make Earth 23 and that Superman come to life. But something tells me it may not be like that. You know, I'm very hesitant to say exactly, hey, that's exactly what JJ's going to do, and it's going to be great. Because I've been disappointed way too many times.
I'd be really worried with where he takes the story. With Tanishi Coates writing it, all I can think is there's going to be, I don't know, talking down to the audience almost.
Pontification. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not really a comic guy. He wrote some comics and they were, I don't know, almost a disaster.
Look, man, I consider movie and book guys going to comics a bad idea. You need comic book guys writing comic books, not film director, film writers. They don't approach it the same way. And I got to tell you the truth, they got the wrong idea. They don't understand shit about comics.
Well, if you look at his run, because Marvel brought him on basically because he was, you know, that big name and he fit, you know, basically their diversity hires at that time. And then people hated those books. Like they didn't.
He was doing Black Panther, right?
Yeah, Black Panther, and he did a little bit of Captain America, where he really didn't like Captain America. It was a lot more of, you know, saying that he had privilege and never faced real struggles, and, you know, all that type of thing.
Exactly.
I can't see it going anywhere but there with him writing the movie for Superman.
Exactly.
And
hey, we got some comments. I want to get them in here real quick. I'm sorry, Yeti, to cut in. Socks, I think this is something that you would have an opinion on, Keith. I don't, because I don't know the character. Socks says, would it have been a better idea? Do you know much about this, Doc?
I know about Icon. I like Icon. I bought some of those original comics when they first debuted.
Okay, so both of you can comment on this. Would it have been a better idea to do Icon as a movie than Black Superman? Icon is, I hate saying Black Superman. It just sounds dumb. I sound like I don't know nothing about Superman. It's like,
isn't that part of it insulting? That's
Icon
what it's going to be referred
character.
to. Yeah.
I don't think so. Look, I'm not a big fan of this idea. I dislike it because you already have a Black Superman character, which was Steel. For me, I don't know who the hell Icon is. So let's go into it. Come on, Doc. Come on, Keith.
Icon was originally from Milestone, and he was their Black Superman character.
But he doesn't belong to DC.
He does.
No.
Well, he was licensed to DC, kind of.
That's
then
right.
Maybe they should have done it then. But I still am a big fan of Steel.
Yes.
And I wish we could finally get a non-Shaq related, Steel. You know.
Well, I can understand why they're a little bit slow on doing that.
What?
Because I can understand why they're a little slow on wanting to make a Steel movie. In order for Steel to work, you have to already have Superman established to a certain extent. But on top of that, it's difficult to have a a character that comes at it in that same angle.
And this really bugs me because this is all part of the Hamada thing.
Yeah.
The small pocket universe is not one shared universe.
Mm-hmm.
And, we have an established Superman. It's Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
And we should have Steel.
Yes.
But they want to do these pocket things, which is stupid. But you know what?
People want to see more of him too.
Yeah. The other part too is that they have to go this pocket route for the moment because they stumbled with their own cinematic universe. And that is that they left into the hands of a single director as opposed to a proper producer that actually knows the material, knows the marketing strategy, knows how to do it. Now, personally, I would have suggested, because you really want to get one of the best producers in the business, you would get Lauren Schuler Donner. Not only for the fact that she is one of the best producers in the industry.
You got me cringing too, buddy.
Really?
I worship her husband. But
yeah,
no,
because,
I don't like her.
Oh, really? She gets stuff done, man.
Keith and I both have issue with her.
I totally agree with you, Doctor.
Yeah.
I think she is one of the, kind of like Kathleen Kennedy. She gets stuff done, but she doesn't care for the opinions of fans. She's one of these individuals that believes that her particular version of doing things is the only version that you should have. She was one of the people that came up with the edict for X-Men that none of the actors should read comics. They should only pay attention to the script. And had it not been for Kevin Feige and a few other individuals, I think things would have been a little bit different for X-Men, at least on the margins. You would have had a lot of fans upset with that first X-Men movie because they would have done some monumentally dumb things. Like instead of having Eric Lyncher, his name would have been Jonathan.
Yeah, I remember that. And I just oh my God, I'm glad that didn't happen.
But do you know why she came at that approach? And it has nothing to do with the fact that she doesn't like the comics. It's the fact that the X-Men comics at that time.
Well, you say that, but she also forbade comics being on the set.
Yeah, because the thing is she wanted to differentiate them to its own accord because basically a lot of the issues and contentions of superhero films at that time, the ones that tried to stick to the comics ended up doing far more poorly than the ones that strayed, aside from the fact of her husband's, which was the first Superman film.
Well, that was a budget issue too.
Yeah, that was also the case. But when you take a look like The Punisher, when you take a look at Spawn, which came out a few years prior, all that stuff, trying to stick to the comics, do their own thing and whatnot, always was a disaster. And that's basically what she's done. Now, today, because I've pitched her this, I said, if things were in a perfect world where you could get your husband, say Deborah Joy Levine, and a team of new writers to do a Superman show, would you do it? She's like, yes, and we would draw exclusively from the best comics of those characters. Like, the thing is, she turns around. She knows how to make stuff work and get done. At that time, at the turn of the century, nobody really wanted to base things off of comics at that point.
I think you're the only person that's ever said turn of the century.
Well, it is the turn of the century.
It is, but hardly... I've never heard anybody else say it, and automatically my head goes to 1900.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Boy, how old are you?
The reason she's one of the best in the business is that she's not arrested in development. Mm-hmm. She may have a her way or the highway type of approach, but the thing is, it doesn't mean she doesn't learn from project to project. I mean, the whole reason Kevin Feige is because she taught him everything she knew. Mm-hmm. And he just knew how to.
He also learned from what's his name, Avi Arad.
He learned what not to do from Avi Arad.
Yeah.
And also we saw what was going on with the Spider-Man franchise, where you basically have Sam Raimi and Kevin Feige, both huge fans of the comics, trying to do that. Avi Arad pulling in the opposite direction because he's trying to emulate Lauren Schuler Donner with regards to the X-Men, because those first two movies did really well. And
a lot of people don't understand that she left after a while.
She left.
And they kept blaming her. It's like, dude, she's not working on it anymore. She hasn't been working on it for a few years. Yeah. Hey, I want to hit some of the comments, but I also want to promote something real quick. We're going to be doing an episode on April 3rd with our good friend Paul Tweddle from Heavy Spoilers, one of the top spoiler shows. online. I freaking love his show. And he's agreed to come on and do a live show. And I hope some of you guys will join us in the discussion with him. The only thing we always make it a point, because it's the same thing with Keith and I, is we keep politics out of it. We're talking movies. Now, when we start talking about woke ass motherfuckers, that has nothing to do with politics. That has to do with the fact that liberals and conservatives both dislike woke ass motherfuckers. And the majority of my friends, at least half of them, are liberal, and they hate them as well. They are ruining everything. Ruining it, Brian. Ruining it. Ruined it. Would you like some Cool Whip, Brian? Brian? And, of course, Matt Vader, we love you, man. Thanks for stopping by. Then, of course, we got Wolvie 181. This garbage is the reason why Warner Brothers will never surpass Marvel Studios. And I got to say, I'm still in agreement with you. I think that
I will add something to that statement. It's not just Warner Brothers. This type of stuff is the reason why Sony, Warner Brothers, Universal, Paramount, none of these other studios are gonna be able to surpass Marvel Studios, because no one wants to allow someone to have the kind of power that Kevin Feige had in creating the MCU. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody.
Yeah, I don't think they understand it either.
If they pick the wrong person, they're boned. That's the other part too. So not only do they not want to give any one individual that power, they have to make sure that whoever does have that power is the equivalent of Kevin Feige for their franchise. And finding someone that can honestly do that and pull that off is rare. Kevin Feige is a unicorn.
He's a unicorn. That's it. You can't judge everyone else, especially Warner Brothers or at least DC, by that standard.
Because you're never going to find another Kevin Feige.
That's right. The
closest you have is someone like Jon Favreau, and even he's not a Kevin Feige. No. But I want to point out that Kieran said this: the only problem Zack's DC universe has had are Warner Brothers interference and one very bad casting choice. Guess who I'm talking about, Gary? I know who you're talking about. Or should I say,
well, that's a bad cough. You might want to get that checked out. It's terrible.
I need to get it checked.
That was right in the throat.
Yeah.
Yeah. We stand with Johnny Depp. Fuck that bitch. But anyway, Kieran's right, because Keith and I have talked about that ad nauseum on the show.
At no time was Zack able to, for a studio that likes to say that it's all about the artist, Zack has never really been able to properly express himself in the way that he wants to. Every single film he has ever done for Warner Brothers, when it comes to the DC character films, has had interference.
Yep.
There have been changes. There have been...
I've heard a lot of problems with studios, but the one I've heard the most problems with artists in particular, creatives, is Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's the amount of interference that he's had ranks right up there with what happened with Josh Trank.
Yeah.
Over at Fox. Or Sam Raimi, eventually with
Sony. Yep.
And again,
we all know that's Avi or Rod.
Well, I mean, Josh Tranks is also a self-destructive story.
Yes.
Yeah, when you read, because there are two sides to that story. Yeah. And I've heard his argument.
He was enabled to be self-destructive.
But yeah, he really did some weird ass shit. Now, what Wolvie says here is Jar Jar Abrams sees his films not doing well. He leaves them to find another IP to suck dry. This is a common practice with people who are like him. He is a field hopper. He's like a parasite. He's the aliens from Independence Day. They come, they suck the planet dry, and then destroy it or leave it in ruin. He's done it. Now, the one place he didn't do it, and I'm not sure if that's because Tom Cruise had more control, was the Mission Impossible series, because his name is still associated with every film since he started. He started what is referred to now as the world-building Mission Impossible films.
Yeah, his Mission Impossible 3, which was a film that gave me a headache, saved it from Ang Lee's What the Hell Mission Impossible.
Yeah, and look, I liked Mission Impossible 3 because it had interesting characters in it, because that's really what I asked for.
It was
Give me
more
some interesting
team-based.
characters with some arc. Give me an arc in the story where there's growth and change, and we got that. And the film, JJ did a manageable job with that.
No, I give him all kinds of crazy credit for 3. I believe that the continuation of the franchise is because of what he added to it and the actors that he brought into that series by giving Ethan a life and a girlfriend, and by adding in new characters to bounce off of. It really extended everything. But I'm also of the opinion that I think it's time for Tom Cruise, after these next whatever movies he does, to just take it to TV. Go to Paramount Plus and take this entire
Bring Jeremy
concept
Renner. Bring Jeremy Renner.
and bring it back to television.
I agree wholeheartedly, because I'm a big fan of the original series. All the way up until Nimoy left. And then I kind of was like, okay, you don't have anybody I really care about. Don't get me wrong, I love Greg and I loved Lupus, but
and Tom wouldn't have to be in the show. What you would do is
he could do the bookender things, appear
that's right
times a season.
You would take a character that you already had from the films, and in my opinion, that should be Paula Patton. And you bring her in and make her the centerpiece of a new show where she plays a former agent who's teaching the younger agents how to do this. And you're feeding into the IMF that way.
Now, I do want to point out, Wolvie, we are not contradicting you. Yeah. I'm just pointing out the one occasion where he didn't do that.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, he ruined Star Trek, ruined it, Brian, ruined. And he did the same thing to Star Wars.
Well, he had help in that one. A lot of help.
He had help, but here's the other thing. Like
Kathleen Kennedy, just absolutely. Yeah, but go ahead, Doc.
Tom Cruise technically, he doesn't actually, but he technically owns the IP for Mission Impossible as far as he's concerned. That is the only thing that saved Mission Impossible when JJ Abrams came in, is the fact that JJ did not have the means to do all the stuff that he would normally have done. And there's also a reason why he's not been brought back as a director, and it has nothing to do with the fact that JJ has turned down directing choices. It has to do mostly with the fact that Tom Cruise knows that there are better people out there. But he's giving JJ the production side of things, the little bonus there, because again, JJ was able to use his clout and his influence from Lost to save that series for Tom. So It's basically a quid pro quo where Tom's like, okay, you got this thing back on track, but you're clearly not qualified to take it all the way. So you get your producer credit, you leave us alone. We don't make the mistake we made prior, and you're off to do whatever you want to do.
There you go.
Yeah. And that's it.
And now I want to point out to Socks, who made the comment, the least said about Kathleen Kennedy, the better. She needs to go as soon as possible.
And her friends.
We're going to have a dedicated episode talking about all of the shit going on over there, because there's an internal war at Warner Brothers, and the war is between Warner Brothers DC and the hand that feeds it, AT&T. And that is a war that is very confusing to me. But there's an internal war at Star Wars, and it is really a hands-off thing with Disney. Disney interferes a little bit. That's why when people blame Disney, I blame them for not firing her. I always say, Bob Iger, you could have stopped this. But the fact is they renewed Kathleen Kennedy's contract, and that led to what just happened. And of course, Midnight's Edge is going to be doing an episode talking about who really was behind the firing of Gina Carano and is going after the Rosario Dawson.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to see that after, because I think, is that airing tonight, guys?
I think that aired just before this show, actually.
Okay, so I'm going to be watching that after we finish this live show, because I am curious as to who they're going to point at, because I trust Midnight's Edge and Doomcock. Both of them know what they're talking about.
Yeah, they're the 60 minutes of geekdom.
Yeah, and but anyway, yes, you're right, Socks. But stay tuned because we will be doing an episode on that, and I definitely want Doc in there and Yeti. Get read up if you're going to be on the show that episode.
Cool, I can do that.
Good educated motherfucker. Let's see. Yeti tells everybody, bullies them into smashing the like button. You're such a dick. Please do smash that like button. Don't do it just because Yeti told you had to.
Do it. Do it now.
Do it.
Sox Bulletin wrote, Kevin Feige is a genius. Thank God for that man. Yes, he is. And like Doc and Keith said, he is a unicorn. You're just not going to find a guy like that. Maybe once every generation you'll find someone like that, if lucky.
It's not, again, if there were anybody else who was able to come close to what Kevin Feige could do, chances are Kevin Feige probably would have hired him by now to take him off and take him out, because Kevin Feige is a competitive dude. Do not let his demeanor fool you. He is a competitive guy. And he will always try to take advantage of the fact that, he realizes he and Marvel Studios are right here at the top.
Well, the thing I love about him, too, is like the mistake everybody makes. Oh, he's such a nice guy. I'm like going, look, man, I'm sure he can be pretty reasonable, but nobody gets to the top of fucking Marvel being a nice guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, not with him. No, Perlmutter vanished, and there's a reason for that.
Yes, that was Kevin Feige. Karen says Simon Pegg Benji spinoff. Love that dude since Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. Concur. I'm a big Simon Pegg fan.
He's one of the reasons why you have to continue to give JJ Abrams credit, because creating the character of Benji was one of the best things that JJ did for Mission Impossible. That is a great character. It's a fun character.
I just threw up in my mouth a little hearing those words. The best thing he's ever done. Like, it doesn't
hire
sit
Simon
well.
Pegg. Yeah. The best thing he did was hire Simon Pegg. I mean, the other part too is Simon Pegg kind of writes his own lines for his characters, except with Christopher McQuarrie, because those two are actually kind of in sync.
They are actually. No, they really are.
They really are.
But I do want to point out that Sock said, thanks, I'll be watching that. I do watch Doomcock. And he's talking about watching our Star Wars episode where we're going to go in depth with Star Wars. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, of course, once again, Matt is taking up YetiCast's bullying, telling you have to smash it. Please, don't do it because they're ordering you to do it. Just do it because you want to, because it's fun. And you love us. Thanks, Matt. But let's get it back to
Superman.
Get back to Superman and Warner DC and the war over Superman, because we have 3 iterations of Superman that are happening. We have, of course, Zack Snyder's, which is happening. Mm-hmm. We have Greg Berlanti's, and I'm sorry. I fucking enjoyed the first episode.
Me too. I
was shocked
because you're going to be so disappointed later on.
Well, that's just it, because it's Greg Berlanti, and I'm expecting the punch. I expect him to go woke and tear it apart, make Lois the hero of the story, and emasculate Superman somehow.
Well, they've already started because, listen, I don't believe for an instant that a character like Superman, who would have a child that would have questions about their life and anxiety to a point, not be able to help that
kid. Was the typical CW shit with the fake drama.
I don't believe that Superman wouldn't be able to relate to any of his kids, would be able to help them, to not be able to make them the most confident and secure children on
I also
the planet.
don't believe that he would keep it a secret.
I would say he probably would tell them when they're like around 10 or 11.
Time. Yeah, wait till when they
know how
most religions, puberty,
Well, they did that at puberty because they want to copy Smallville, and Smallville itself does not age well. I highly recommend you go back and watch a couple of those episodes where the only thing that's good about it is Jonathan and Martha Kent, with Lionel Luthor and Michael Rosenbaum espousing philosophy by a half-baked dropout from a philosophy writer. But no, I mean, it does not age well. It's actually the ground zero for your for your Berlanti verse, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the other things that go on there. It should not be revered as a good show because it isn't.
Well, I give Smallville a little bit of credit in that they at least took the chance on having one of the Superman characters that everybody else seems to fear. Okay. Other than that, yeah, you are totally correct in having the one black reporter from the Daily Planet. They at least hired somebody to play that character for a moment on screen with Clark.
Oh yeah,
which is cool. Now, Supergirl, they chickened out. They decided, let's just go ahead and make Jimmy Olsen black. That'll be easier. Rather than having this character move over to Supergirl and be all, because he's a reporter.
Be the mentor, actually. Technically, he would have been a great mentor.
He would have been a great mentor for her. But, you know.
They wanted a love triangle between Supergirl and Jimmy Olsen.
And Lucy. And
Lucy.
Turns out he was Lucy's husband. I mean, eventually, see, that's the other thing. The thing about the only reason why Clark became acceptable to Lois's dad is, wait for it, Lucy decided to have a relationship and marry a black man. That's it. That was it.
Guess who's coming to dinner?
You mean in the Superman in the Supergirl show that was, or
in the comics?
Oh, because I don't wait. Who did Lucy marry in the comics? I can't remember.
That was his name was because they ripped it off for the Supergirl series.
Oh, okay.
What they had was that whole thing with Jimmy Olsen was actually this other character. That's what I keep alluding to. They originally read the comics and they got that part of it right. But instead of having this character, they just changed his name to Jimmy Olsen, is what they did. And it makes it oh man. See, the name just
actually it makes Sam Lane look even worse.
Yeah, well, Sam Lane was never a nice guy. He hated Clark. And obvious reasons. But the dude he hates everybody, but especially the two things that he made clear: aliens and people that look like me. But
well, yeah, that was done in the 70s, right? Because I remember it was basically aliens and reporters, because reporters nose around on government and expose government operations, and aliens are a threat to the species, and that's why him and his daughter were always at odds, is because she went to become a reporter, which is one thing he hated. And I think the whole bigotry aspect of it that came during just after the civil rights movement, because I think they wanted to do something there.
His name was Ron Troop.
Ron Troop, thank you. Yes.
And man, I can't believe I fizzed on that name. But Ron Troop only had 2 appearances in all the years of appearances. He only played a part in 2 episodes of Smallville in all the time that they were on the air.
Yeah.
The first time he left a voicemail message, and that's the way they decided to leave it. The first time you have Ron Troop on, and it's a voicemail. And the second time, he nearly bumps into Clark. He passes on some information, and then he leaves. And that's the last time you see him. That is the extent of the amount of time he was on Smallville.
You know, you can tell how old and dated this stuff is just because they actually have reporters doing real journalism. Like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's
now.
like, wait a minute. Journalism doesn't mean activist?
No, and they don't just sit on their
keep
computer.
a journal on a story and then show that journal without
leave
your
their
fucking
house.
opinion. Huh. I had no idea that's what journalism meant.
It's like we're looking through a time machine. Oh my god, that's what it was.
Well, what's odd enough is that the compared to Smallville, if you take a look at that very first season of Lois and Clark, that holds up better today than Smallville does. And on top of it, it also highlights what journalism was at the time, where you have Perry White saying, "Oh, you got this great story. Where are the facts?"
Well,
we
that's
don't have any.
just because Dean
And then he kicks them out of the office and says, "Get me facts or don't come back to work." Like,
boy, that escalated quickly.
Exactly.
Now, I've got another video I haven't played in a while. I want to play it real quick because we're talking about one of my favorite subjects, AT&T and Warner.
When you're slapped, you'll take it and like it.
Oh my God.
Look, I made that for an episode we did a long time ago. And
so that's going to be basically AT&T and Warner Brothers every day come December of this year.
I just don't understand how anybody at Warner Brothers or DC, which is still Warner Brothers, thinks they can win a fight with the people that pay the checks, that pay for everything.
I look at it this way. My expectations for Zack Snyder's Justice League are such that I'm not expecting this to be the greatest thing ever put on film. I'm not expecting that at all. As I've often said, 2017, I paid to see a movie, Justice League, directed by Zack Snyder, and that's not what I got. I got something completely different. So realistically, for me, this is pretty much just making good on what they had originally promised me before.
Right.
And in that instance, when you look at everything that happened to deny me that experience, none of it is the fault of the guy who they got rid of or who had to leave. It's all self-inflicted. Warner Brothers has basically themselves to blame.
Yeah, they're like
from Sunday.
They're like the singer Pink. You know, they're their own worst enemy.
Yeah, they keep finding different ways to trip their own selves up. Because in the end, the one thing that they were trying to do, the real reason why they have Zack Snyder, is that they couldn't get the person who they originally wanted. And that was Christopher Nolan. And now, in the aftermath, and to me, the reason why all this other stuff, JJ and all the recent stuff has happened is because they lost the one thing that in the beginning they wanted to keep.
Okay, but they're going to lose so much more. They're going to lose probably the best Superman that they can get right now.
They've already lost one of the best directors out there.
Yeah.
They lost Chris Nolan. And I think that at that point, once Chris Nolan decided he was out, then Toby decided, you know what, all bets are off. We can't even pretend anymore. He went ahead and called up JJ and it's like, let's do it. That to me is really what led us to where we are right now with this news.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is it's going to get even worse because they're just throwing Henry Cavill away.
I know.
I don't hear anyone complain about how he portrays Superman. Usually he's doing a good job, but he's got bad scripts for the character.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't feel like a Superman story. It's not hopeful, and they're going about his character wrong. But people all want to see more of Henry Cavill in that role, and they're not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll never do it, actually. If you can't get Superman to be Superman by the end of that first movie, you'll never get him to be Superman for any subsequent film.
And that's one of the sad things I've talked about in the past, too, is that despite Zack not understanding Superman, I don't think he understands the character. I really don't.
I don't even think he understands.
And I'm forgiving him for the first film.
Yeah.
But the use of Superman in the other films shows, he still doesn't quite understand him. Henry Cavill understands him.
I think Zack does. It's just the fact that for every film he made thereafter, you know how in Empire Strikes Back when Vader tells Lando that he's altering the terms of the deal?
I'm altering the deed. Pray I don't
Spoilers, come on.
Fuck you, Yeti. You and your nut. I have never watched Star Wars. You gotta hide under a rock to not see that fucking movie.
I think what we're dealing with here is an instance where, again, as I've often said, Snyder was really looking forward to making Man of Steel 2. And that is not the movie that he ended up coming out with because Warner Brothers said, hey, look, it doesn't matter what you do next. Whatever you do has to have Batman and Wonder Woman in it because we're going to try to cut to the chase.
Yeah, and this is what screwed him up with getting his Justice Society. But before we go on, I want to point out that Karen said that I love the CW Superman, but Henry Cavill has been the best actor to wear the cape since Christopher Reeve.
Right there.
I want to point out I think the guy is a fair actor. Don't get me wrong. One playing him on Superman and Lois, but he's got such a weird fucking head. And
So does Lois Lane.
and to neck. Oh my god, she looks like an emaciated alien. She's got like a tiny square jaw, and this ginormous fucking head, and a little tiny pencil neck, and bony arms, and it's like a rod puppet.
No,
you know?
she's got that affliction that a lot of CW actresses have, especially when they're over the age of 25, which is basically someone is telling them to lose weight, and they're basically eating X-Lax.
God, I hate that they do that in Hollywood. Their acting chops are fine, but he walks around with a constant 5 o'clock shadow, and it drives me crazy. The guy playing Superman.
Taylor Hoechlin is a good actor. I like him.
He's a very good actor, but he just looks so weird as Superman. But damn it, I loved what they did that first episode, despite some of the dumb shit they did with the kids. I think the dynamic with Superman in particular and how they opened the show was good. But I am expecting the punch to come from Greg Berlanti because he's a woke-ass motherfucker. And I cannot see him running a show and not having some woke stuff. But I'm glad that he got pushed back to not be woke on the first.
They need to lower the collar on Superman's suit by about 1.5 inches. When you have it that tight around the neck, that's a little bit close to what Brandon Routh was put in. And one of the constant issues with the Superman suit. And it's going to sound a little dicey, but a lot of people in Hollywood said the suit looks way too gay because it doesn't look masculine. It looks effeminate. It's designed to make him look slim as opposed to look bulky. And that has to do when you go with too small of the trunks, tight around the neck, and you shrink this chest, this symbol on the chest to make it look like you're going aimed inward instead of brought out. And that's why, Brandon Routh, who's a big guy and actually looks the part as well as Henry Cavill does, as well as Christopher Reeve did not look like a very intimidating, or at least a very statuesque Superman, because everything was designed to narrow him out in his costume, and that's not what you want to do. He has to look bigger than life. And what they've done,
you want him broad,
is they gave him the neck, but they also gave him about 3 inches of padding around his shoulders and arms. So now it all looks it doesn't flow properly. It's weird. But I will say the best scene in Superman and Lois, came with Clark talking to the good son, finding out he's like made the team, and then being all awkward and goofy around that, because that's more of a dad moment. Yeah, that fits within the character, because it's asinine for Clark Kent or Superman to play the role of Clark Kent at home, even in front of his kids. Especially if he's hiding the fact that he's Superman, he still would not be playing the bumbling fool type to his kids, because that's irresponsible as a parent to seem like you're
make him look like a buffoon.
Exactly. To make him
look, and
that's
why I dislike the whole joke about him falling off a ladder.
It just doesn't make sense. Like, if he played that at work, fine, that's fine. But as soon as he comes home, he's that hybrid between. He's not entirely Superman, but he's Clark Kent, man of the house, partner with Lois.
But that's because you know how to tell a story, Doc. Yeah. All right, I'm going to promote my buddies here. First, let's go back to YetiCast. YetiCast channel is right here. It's in the chat. Click on that link. Subscribe to my buddy YetiCast. He's a great guy, good friend, one of my best new buddies. And then, of course, ScriptDoctor. And ScriptDoctor is at youtube.com/C/ScriptDoctor. And subscribe to him because he does great breakdowns of story, how to understand story. Because Keith knows, I've talked about it. You're a far bigger master of it than I am. But I studied under Josh Becker, and he taught me how to be a better writer, taught me all the mistakes that writers make, what makes a good writer, what makes a bad writer. And I try to focus on those things when I'm looking at, when I judge a film or a TV show. And it's a technical issue. And you and I have talked ad nauseum about it, Doc. But anyway, subscribe to ScriptDoctor, because sometimes your story gets swollen, needs to be checked.
Yep, I grab it and say cough.
Turn your head and say cough. Or cough.
No, then you can't listen to me yell at you while you're wrong. Right.
And we got some asshole named Cohen's Ghost, the music of Gary Cassell, that dropped in to say, "Hey guys, long time watcher, first time caller, love this show, LOL." Fuck you. And ETEP woke. Am I saying that?
Wokian.
Wokian, the place to be reviews. Hail Pop Culture Minefield. Hail back to you. And I'm not going to try. I want to hear it pronounced before I try saying that again.
Okay.
The CW Superman and Lois was a solid debut. I would agree with you about 85%. And Tyler
Hoechlin
was he's good as Clark Kent. I think he's better as Clark Kent as far as visually. He's good as Superman, but he looks really odd. But I really didn't
nail that suit. They haven't nailed the suit yet.
Yep. I hope the series stays on track, but Cavill is not replaceable, and we completely agree with you. It's bullshit that they keep trying, and I don't. Why are you even trying to do this?
Because it's Toby. It's that whole, you know. I don't think Toby really wants any Snyder whatever left. He's ready to move on.
And that's too bad because Toby's a cunt and we want to get rid of him. And the fans are going to keep going at him.
What I want to ask you guys is, why does Hollywood seem to hate showing good fathers on screen? Because this happens all the time.
A lot of writers had bad dads, actually.
If you guys look back, it started with the second showrunner for The Simpsons. That's really when it started. And they started making Homer not such a good dad and more of a buffoon, or as they referred to him, a dog if a dog could talk.
Yeah.
And that was the second showrunner, not the first showrunner. The
That
first
would
showrunner,
be season 4, I think.
I think that was it. It was 3 or 4, and because like the first Simpsons was really, there was a great dynamic, a family dynamic, like with the Bundys. That despite the fact they were dysfunctional, when shit hit the fan, they really came together, and I love that about the show. But Fat Steven Skull says so much homo, and I would say Fat Steven knows a lot about that. Thanks for dropping in, Fat Steven. Another good new buddy. Sox Bulletin says if Henry Cavill is out as Superman, that's just wrong. But I do hope Kevin Feige gets Henry Cavill to play Captain Britain. If that does come about, he is the number one actor that anyone should turn to play that character.
Yeah.
And
if not Captain Britain, they can't get him into that Wonder Man.
Oh,
he would make
I would watch that
Wonder
too.
Man.
Yeah, buddy. Yeti Cast says more gay shit.
Hugs and kisses.
Steven is making fun of my stepdaughter's mock egg roll. She ran out of seaweed, so she just wrapped it in rice paper, so it looked like a rice cannoli. You had to be there. It was really fucked up. Das Wolfren says, hello. Das Wolfren. Have you come to touch my monkey? Fat Steven yells, rice cannoli, notice me. And Sean Cromwell, great guy. God, I wish we gotten a hold of him earlier. I'd love to have gotten him on here. Yeah, Yeti is a busy man. He certainly is. Das Wolfen says, I'm hoping that The Rock can keep Cavill in the suit.
That's probably the only reason why Cavill hasn't already been snapped up by Marvel Studios.
I think that he wants Superman. He wants Superman.
Yeah.
He reminds me of, I think we lost Charlie. He's like Christopher Reeve. He has an emotional attachment to this thing. Yeah. And it's something I was talking to my wife, Deanna, about, that actors that take on playing Superman have to be a very special kind of person, because they have to love that character, because they're going to be identified with that character, and it's going to impact their private lives in a way that no other role other than the Lone Ranger used to do.
Mm-hmm. Or James Bond.
But But then again, with James Bond, they expect him to be fucking women all the time. So,
well, here's the other part too. So Christopher Reeve was willing to do a Superman 5. There's actually footage of him at a con saying that he would do it if the script was exactly what he would stay true to what he was pitched.
and Warner is the one who tripped the horse.
Probably. I mean,
That
I
is
know
such an evil joke.
It's such an
Oh
evil
my
joke.
God.
I know more equestrians that said that he should never have ridden that horse because that horse was too advanced for him.
Yeah, I read that he wasn't prepared to ride a horse of that skill.
Yeah.
And it's what led to the incident. And it's so fucking tragic because I remember where I was. There, that's one of those things that happens that you remember exactly where you were when you heard Christopher Reeve was paralyzed.
Yeah.
But hey, look, we've got the pronunciation. Huakuyan. Huakuyan.
Cool. I like
Oh,
that.
stop acting like that's cool. It's not cool. It's
Or is
nerd.
that supposed to be whoa? Whoa, Kuyan.
Whoa,
Whoa,
Kuyan.
Kuyan.
Whoa.
It sounds-
Whoa.
Is that Inuit?
I think that's inverse, actually.
Inverse?
See, at first I thought it was a play on woke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wokian.
Well, Wokian.
Wokian. Oh.
All right. Moving right along to his next comment. At Pop Culture Minefield, I don't care if they race swap a character, but this move with Superman is painfully... Well, that's just it. When you race swap, it's a good comment. But the fact is, we care because it's sort of like the issue I have with a relative of mine who made a comment one day that they will only date a person of a certain race. And I said, well, that's racist. And she goes, no, it's not. I said, yes, it is. You are precluding any other possible relationship with anybody from another race. I'm sorry. That is the very definition of racist. And so I consider it racist when they do it specifically. Now, it's like if they were going to go casting and looking for thousands of actors, looking through thousands of actors for the right actor to play this part, and that actor is the one who won it after 1,000 auditions, then clearly it's not being made because of his skin color.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've had a half Japanese Superman in Dean Cain.
Yeah, a lot of people don't fucking know that.
And he beat out Kevin Sorbo.
Yes, he did. And, it's basically, it goes all the way back to An Officer and a Gentleman. When Louis Gossett Jr. got the role as the drill instructor. And the role was written for a white guy because the character was white in the script. You remember that, Keith?
Yeah, I remember that movie. That's a good movie.
And he got that because he fucking won that role by being the best actor.
There's no way you can watch that movie and not initially sit up straight.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, he's one of those few people that makes my ass clench. I'm a veteran. I should know what it's like to be yelled at.
On top of that, you also have, for instance, Lethal Weapon, where they were doing preliminary casting ideas, and Richard Donner was going over ideas and options with his casting director, and she brought up Danny Glover. And Donner's reflexive comment, which was then used as a joke in Lethal Weapon 2, which is, but he's black. And
what
Donner,
a dumb comment.
which is what he said. And then she's like, yeah, and he's like, yeah, and yeah, why not Danny Glover? Like he just...
Yeah, you're right.
And then
You're right.
decide, and then, for the sequel, they decided to throw that joke in there because they thought it was a ridiculous thing at the time because he never considered it because even though the script did not say specifically what the ethnicity was for the characters, Richard Donner was like reading, it's like, oh, it's just two white guys, old cop, young cop type of thing.
Yeah, Das Wolfen, we brought that up earlier. That was a matter of discussion. And look, Icon was bought by DC. They could definitely do that. But the fact is they do have a black Superman, and his name is Steel. And I would love to see Steel done correctly without Shaquille O'Neal.
or if they're just going to go the whole Earth 23 route, I'm down with it. I'm down with it if they're going to
Well,
develop.
I just don't want Michael B. Jordan to be involved because
I don't think he is right for the part. I really
he's not
think
right for the part, but he's also done the race swap role with Johnny
Fantastic
Storm
Four. That's
and
right.
Fantastic Four, and it has nothing to do with him.
As the adopted brother.
No, he was the brother and she was the adopted sister.
She was the adopted sister.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it had nothing to do with him, but that was just a terrible script because the entire mentality behind what they were doing with Fantastic Four was not in tune with that family.
Yeah,
exactly.
But
so basically, it's like why you're doing it is important. It's important to know why the studio wants to do that. And because all of us are fucking sick to death of woke decisions made just based off of somebody's skin color or their fucking gender identification. Stop doing that. Write good stories, focus on stories, and get the best actor and I refer to women as actors.
They are.
I generalize
refer to themselves.
I don't like using actress. It's actors.
Actresses for porn.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody should know a little bit about that, Yeti.
I think it's also important to understand that Michael B. Jordan himself negotiated and said in the story that I read about the unveiling of all this that he wanted it to be Calvin Ellis.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's going into this saying that he's going to be Calvin Ellis. So they're not really race swapping. They're just doing a different version of the character, which again, I'm fine with. I need to understand the context that they're going to do this in, because again, nobody's really a real comic book fan outside of in Hollywood right now, outside of Kevin Feige. There are no guarantees that any of these people have actually picked up comics. Well, I should say outside of Kevin Feige and Dwayne Johnson.
We also know
about 200 writers.
Jon Favreau was a huge comic nerd.
No, there's a lot of them out there. There's not a lot with power. There's not a lot with connections. There's not a lot.
Greg Berlanti says he was, but Keith and I are
Greg
calling
Berlanti
him out
is a
on
fake
that.
one.
He's a fucking liar.
He knows his stuff, but he hates it all because it doesn't appeal to him.
Yep. Now, Dean Cain really was one of the best Supermans. He really was. I love Lois and Clark.
He was given the best lines and the best situations in that first season, but the poor guy was such a new actor. he doesn't always nail the performance, but he's surrounded by a lot of good, talented people where you can just ignore that. And he's also come a long way. And I've seen him recently in some interviews and stuff, and it's like he could still play the role.
Yeah.
Like as like, an empty nester Superman. And I think that would be a great special to do. And I know Terry Hatcher wants to do that because she still loves the role, even though she had her concerns about it during third and fourth season when she was married to John Tenney and started doing drugs, because if you're married to John Tenney, you have to do drugs because that guy's an ass.
Well, plus, he's super dreamy, so you've got that going too.
I just think that overall, okay, there are ways to navigate all of this that could lead to little to no controversy with any of this stuff, but Warner chooses not to go that direction.
I want to point something out here. Rowan said something in the chat. Terry is the best Lois also. I liked her a lot as Lois Lane, but still, and not just because she was my childhood Lois Lane. And no, I'm not going back to the TV show. I'm going back to the movie from '78. Is Margot Kidder is still the Lois Lane that you have to compete with to be a good Lois Lane.
Yeah, I just wish she had more stories, because Terry Hatcher had them way more interesting stories for Lois Lane, because obviously it's TV. You got
she got so screwed on that character moving into Superman 3, which was just a debacle.
Heck, even with Superman 2, she got screwed in that character.
Well, that's the whole thing about trying to film a movie simultaneously, trying to do two films at once.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to understand where you stand within all of that, because even as Christopher Reeve said, it was difficult to understand which movie you were making at that time. They had gotten so deep into filming that eventually it just all started to blur together. Now, from his point of view, I can understand that, because his costumes, what he had to wear in both movies, are pretty much similar. So I could see everything just sort of bleeding together. Whereas with Lois, they tried to make it a point of changing up her costumes. So based on what she was wearing, that's the only reason why I think she knew which movie she was making based on the costume that they had her in.
Not only that, she kept losing weight as the production went on, and she had a toddler with her as well, and that was really stressful for her.
Yeah,
it's funny because like I lived in San Fernando for a while, and I remember seeing her on the street in our neighborhood, and my dad didn't like her, and years later I'm like going, hey, that's that lady I saw as a kid when we lived in San Fernando. Dad gave her a hussy.
Oh God.
So anyway, Terry Crews as Steel, I can see that.
Oh yeah,
I can, but he's a little old because you can't.
Well, this falls into that category of what you've talked about many a times of casting a character with a 10-year plan. You want to get somebody that's young enough that's not going to be too old at the end of their 10 years as a character. So yeah,
Terry Crews hasn't physically changed his body in like 30 years though. So yeah,
that motherfucker is badass.
Yeah,
he knows how to keep himself in
Best
great
bouncing
shape.
man boob I've ever seen in my life.
I want him to train me, like just get me somewhere near a better. Like I'm decent right now. I'm not
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, man.
Yeah.
Every episode there's a bouncy tit joke.
Yeah.
Like, how do they keep it fresh? I love it.
He just seems like a great guy to hang out with.
Yeah, he does.
Zack says, totally good stories, good casting, good writing, good directing. Nobody cares about the rest.
Yeah, and the thing with like Terry Crews, he seems very down to earth. Like he was pushing it back against so much of the stuff that was coming out. And he even called it out when they were saying, we know
you
remember.
Yeah.
I won't go down that far, but he seems so down to earth with everything he's doing. He'd be a great pick, but I'm guessing his head is on a chopping block now because I think they're going to be out for him after everything he was standing up for.
Well, he didn't want the pendulum to swing so far in the opposite direction to actually cause an issue, and that's actually a very conscious thought. And it's very rare to see that type of intelligence from an actor because actors
Hollywood
aren't normally very smart people.
All right, so Fat Steven Seagal says I vote for Superman being a Oompa Loompa. So here you go. There you go. There's your Superman Oompa Loompa.
Super Oompa.
He'll sing you a rhythmic song after he kicks your butt or throws you in jail.
All right, get back to it.
I'd be okay with that.
It'd be a Super Loompa, all right?
Super Loompa. I like that.
I hate you right now.
You're not going to get that out of your head now.
No, it's not. That is stuck.
Hey, it's either that or Manamana. So
That
always happens to me when I read the word phenomenon. Like every single time. The song. Oh, I cannot get it out of my head.
Well, you got two choices there.
When the DCU started, I just and still want Booster Gold, Blue Beetle. I was just talking about this the other day. I know who the Blue Beetle is, and I just got educated on the history of the Blue Beetle.
Timothy Olyphant would be a great Blue Beetle.
I think Timothy Olyphant would be really good at any role that needs to be good looking, chiseled features, and funny.
Yeah.
And scary. And scary and funny. Scary and funny, funny and scary. Because I fucking love Timothy Olyphant.
Hal Jordan.
Hal Jordan's a little bit too airheady for Timothy Olyphant. I think David Boreanaz would have been great years ago for him. For Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
He voiced him in New Frontier cartoon.
He did.
Very strong
that was
job
really
there.
Well done.
Everybody liked Nathan Fillion as the idea. I thought he would have been all right.
back in the
they've
day,
all gotten too old now. They've all gotten too
it's
old.
gone now.
Yeah.
But I would have been with you with him. I think he could have pulled that off really well.
Well, now Jon Stewart, look. let me give you at least.
Wait a minute, Jon Stewart from the fake
The Daily
news show.
Because you're missing an H there if we're talking Green Lantern. But
okay.
my biggest pet peeve is everyone trying to tear a lot of these characters apart and saying that you can't have this character because you got to have this character over here or vice versa. Let me tell you something. The Green Lantern Corps, they're all cops. It's not you can't have one and you can't have this one over here because you got this one over here. It's all of them together. Okay? It's a unit. And even though they don't exactly spend too much time in recent comics operating too much together, they all work really well. Different personalities, different ways of seeing things, and Hal Jordan really is one of my favorite conservatives in comics. You know, that's the thing about Hal Jordan. He's a hero. He's a great dude. He's also very conservative.
He's an old school conservative. He doesn't wish anyone harm. That's
right.
Part. Yeah.
And Jon Stewart, they always try to present him as someone that either resents or he can't stand Hal. You know, that's just stupid writing. The two of them are friends.
Best friends. Yeah.
Yeah, they are very best friends. And they're I think the only two members of the Green Lantern Corps on Earth that are actually military guys.
Yep.
Nobody else served.
Well, I think 2814 has like what, 10 Green Lanterns?
Something like that. And one's a comic book artist, another one's a former gym teacher, another one's a
jerk.
Cop.
That's Guy Gardner. He's a jerk.
So, I mean, to me, if you try to come at this, that's my biggest fear about Greg Berlanti doing the Green Lantern Corps television series, is that he's going to try to write in all this animosity. And to me, you're missing the entire point. It's, in reality, if you start it the right way, it's two men, eventually three men, all from Earth, in an organization that is filled with all of these creatures from all over the galaxy that up until a couple years ago, nobody from that planet actually knew existed. These are the odd men out. They are literally alien to the rest of the group.
Well, they've got Berlanti's been trying to push for David Ramsey, who is on the Arrow series, to be the new Jon Stewart, because his stepdad was a guy named General Stewart, and it's really very contrived. Don't get me wrong, I dig the actor, but I'll always remember him as the lifeguard in the Brady Bunch sequel.
There you go.
Because that's what he was. He was the jerk in the Brady Bunch sequel.
I also look at it this way: while Greg Berlanti had presented Tyler Hoechlin's Superman before, in many ways, this version of Superman is kind of different from the one that was on Supergirl. And if he decides to go through and do a Green Lantern television series and wants David Ramsey, he could do the same thing. He could just sort of skip all of that and just present that backstory the way that it's presented in comics.
Well, they wrote out all references to the Flash. There were references written in the script for the Flash in the Superman and Lois pilot that they wrote out for this series. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to separate a little bit, because in I think Superman's appearance in the Supergirl show, he had just gotten married to Lois. They didn't have kids yet until that crisis thing happened, in which case now they're jumping ahead 14 years. So I think that's probably what they're trying to allude to here, that this may be the same universe, but it takes place a little over a decade into the future of that time.
On the for the HBO Green Lantern, it doesn't seem like they're going with anything that the comic books have brought forward. It's going to be a kid of a single parent. We don't know exactly who is the parent, but it's a mix between Earth and alien, some foreign alien, which begs the question of when that occurred. Because if it's around Hal Jordan's time, then it just doesn't make any sense why she would be the mix, because humans were entirely unknown when that happened. Now, if it comes a little bit later, then that might be believable. But in that whole universe. I find it hard to believe that it would be, half alien, half human, just because of how new humans are in the Green Lantern sphere.
Yes. Because as as it stands, Earth, while it was a part of a particular sector that was overseen, they never really paid attention to us. We never did anything to really,
Warrant any more activity. Yeah,
that's right. So having Hal Jordan, Hal Jordan, in my opinion, he's Han Solo, but a little cockier, minus Chewbacca. Whereas
that's Kilowog.
yeah. But with Jon Stewart, what you're getting is you're getting
Marine and architect. Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting someone who is well thought out, someone who is a leader, and in that respect, he's more like Morpheus from The Matrix, but even more of a concentrated. I mean, even more of a thinker. I think I see that as Jon Stewart, and these two guys who are very opposite actually find a lot to respect about each other. And even though they have two different ways of doing things, that's really what makes them incredible. And then you add in Guy Gardner.
You can't show that in Hollywood, though.
No, you can't.
You're not allowed to have different opinions.
Yeah, You have a guy who's conservative and a guy who you really don't know what he is.
It's almost like our show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Hal Jordan has no imagination, but he's also a risk taker. That's the thing. Like he's got bravado. And Jon Stewart has lots of imagination, but he's also a very strict rules by the book type of guy.
All right,
he has to be organized.
Here's a comment.
And you see that in their constructs.
Hold on. Look at the comment on the screen.
Okay.
I agree.
I would say that's. I don't know. I think I think you're kind of wasting Terry Crews there.
Yeah.
Just to leave him as a voice.
Yeah, because you just had the voice, and that probably excludes him from doing any other on-screen performances. And
yeah, when they did that with Michael Clark Duncan, I was like, really? You're going to waste Michael Clark Duncan on for
Black
Kilowog?
Debbie's in the fucking show now. I can't.
Why don't you just call her Debbie?
Yeah, no. What does that have to be, Black Debbie?
I'm gonna call her White Debbie.
Yeah, it's like I've made the conclusion I want to have and do shows with Fat Steven, but I have to be careful. If I'm going to be serious at all, he can only come in after we've got all the serious shit done. I am not going to make it through the rest of the episode being serious. I can't.
Good no child. What do you mean? Does that mean there's a black Stormy?
Oh my god. So yeah, we're done with the serious aspect now.
Yeah, done now. Warner's over.
Keith is trying not to laugh.
But being serious, I think Larfleeze, since he's the single Orange Lantern, would make a great solo film, like a solo film. Because not only is he the only one of the Orange Lanterns, it could show how much destruction he's caused and how we got to that Orange Lantern state. And that is something they have not tapped. It is a lantern most people don't think about, and it is a villain, so they get to go as badass as they want.
Yeah,
and you know what? I'm thinking that it would be a stretch, but as he is a ginger, Simon Pegg, I think he would be a good Orange Lantern.
He's a blonde.
No, he's a fucking ginger.
I've only ever seen him blonde.
What are you, from Canada?
Yeah.
Oh, you are. Never mind. Sorry.
Would they?
It's orange. It's orange.
Would they bring out the other lantern cores? You know, the red lanterns, blue lanterns, orange lanterns.
Oh my god! Stop with the fucking. You trigger my ADD, dude. You know you're doing it.
Well, like they did do, I think, 1 or 2 episodes of Orange Lantern in the animated Green Lantern series, which was actually pretty good.
Yeah, they touched on several, but I was thinking more from the movie
which
aspect.
One showed that?
There's the Green Lantern animated series that Bruce Timm did. It was computer generated.
Fantastic.
I think it did.
I never got to watch that. I'm going to have
Very good.
Yeah, gotta go.
There's your watch party content right there.
There it is.
Go.
Yeah,
because it is very well done, and it touches on a lot of well, I guess it's a Jeff Johns and Ethan Van Sciver run of those books. And you know, it dives into the
Does
Blue
the
Lanterns
Anti-Monitor
and
and a couple of other stories, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's a lot based on there. And it would be, I'm just wondering from the movie side of things, would they even touch on those other corps?
No.
Yeah.
I will tell you they won't. And
Which is unfortunate because there's good stories there.
But that's the thing. It's like Gary has been saying. You know, a lot of these Hollywood people aren't comic book people. So they would only try to adapt something, first of all, if it's something that was big and flashy, but they try to do it in a way that is not going to cost them all that much money. And since they're not about following the story, because a lot of these people, quote unquote, really don't read, they would they'd mess it up. They would find all sorts of ways to mess it up. So you don't want that. And it
is
really
this the one you're talking about?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you guys
26 episodes.
Did you guys, on a side note, since we're talking about the DC, did you guys actually capture the live table and read of Batman Beyond and all the stat crew?
No,
I haven't seen that one yet.
FanFest did it today.
Wow.
And they
That was with Kevin Conroy and
all of them.
Will Friedle,
yeah.
Wow. See, and if I were AT&T, since it seems like Warner Brothers is just dragging their backsides on this, I would just go ahead and just start going, you know what? Let's just go ahead and green light more Batman Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go ahead and green light more Green Lantern in the series.
Oh, not
That's
the
what it is.
Okay, but I don't know about the series because I do not have any faith in who's writing it, and the everything that I've heard about that production sounds terrible. So I wouldn't want to see them.
I mean Green Lantern the animated series. I'd bring that back.
I'm still have my doubts about a revival of Batman the animated series because those writers that wrote that show back in the 90s, they don't write in that way anymore today.
Yeah, I know.
And you're not going to have the same aesthetic or same approach or the same heart because, again, those writers, like Paul Dini's no longer a hungry writer who wants to try and do the best Batman story he can.
Right, yeah.
I mean, he still wants to do the best Batman story he can, but he doesn't have that extra drive anymore to do it. And you saw that drive gone significantly when he was working on, I believe it was Spider-Man and the Web Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
That was a terrible show.
We don't talk about it.
We shouldn't talk about it. The thing is,
hey, check out the comment from Bigfoot Phil. First of all, welcome to the chat, Bigfoot.
Hey.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
If you've not done it yet, please click the like button and subscribe to us because we're going to be doing a lot of live chats now that we are officially starting our third season of our show.
Yeah.
We're going to be joined by a lot of these assholes that are also our friends. And that's why we call them assholes. Because
we've got Raiders of the Lost Art here now.
Yeah.
But
you have to be an asshole to be a friend with Keith and I. And that's just a fact.
It's not even that. As you saw earlier, Gary started drinking heavily shots as soon as you said the seriousness was over. He let see his
I grabbed some too.
No one cares about you. Nobody cares about you.
I am chugging.
I'm kidding. I love Giddy.
Bigfoot says, wouldn't mind seeing Saint Walker in a film.
Yeah.
I know he is a Blue Lantern.
That's where I was going. I was thinking, what if they did one corp each for, Blue Lantern, Red Lantern, Orange Lantern? You could set up a universe there.
Here's the problem. You
not all
have to
friends.
have somebody in charge of this shit that's educated in this stuff. This is what Keith and I keep talking about. People keep getting hired based off of their political views, not off their fucking comic knowledge.
Yeah.
Not even their comic
And
knowledge.
let me correct that. Not their
even
political
their
views.
quality of
Their
storytelling.
socio-political views.
It's not just that too. They're not taking into consideration their quality of art, their quality of storytelling, their quality of respecting the character as well as the franchise. They don't do this anymore.
We know,
It's all
though,
political.
that something is going right over there because almost all of the animated stuff that comes out of DC Warner is good.
Yes. That is
Not in the last
a
5
wide
years.
Except for that one fucking movie I hated, which
Man
was...
of Tomorrow.
No, I did not see that one. The The one I disliked a lot was the graphic novel adaptation of Gotham After Gaslight. I fucking hated that animated
That
movie.
was bad. Their adaptation
was bad.
There's
It was bad as
nothing.
Batman
It's not
Ninja.
even an adaptation. It's like, oh, we brought the characters in and one thematic plot point.
But it wasn't even just that. Look at Batman Ninja. That was horrible. The 3D cell animated, the samurai one where they go back in time or whatever. That was bad. And the cell
Oh yeah,
animation-
I thought it was going to be good because the trailer was great. And
the cell
no,
animation,
I like
the
that
voiceover
trailer.
was bad.
I like the trailer, and
I think
I did not like the film though. It was.
I
bad.
think what they should do is just find a way of adapting more characters. I mean, the most recent grouping of Batman straight to video films, minus the Turtles, minus all that other stuff, but Batman and Batman versus Robin, Batman Bad Blood, all that stuff. Those actors. See, I've always said that should have been a series, given how many they've done and how good the quality of everything that they're presenting. I think they should have gone ahead and made that a series. What they need to do is just do a Batman family anthology series where you can do any of the Batman characters that you want. You can focus on Batman, you can focus on Nightwing, you can focus on you've got more than enough characters to make it.
Yeah, but they have the Joker War sitting at their doorstep.
And then you can do that too.
They have Black Metal. I know a lot of people
you've got it all. With Batman, it's its own thing. That if you make that an animated anthology series, it is its own mini universe. And so you could just do whatever you want. You would find people lining up to work on that show, either as voice talent and or as writers. So to me, that's something I would pull the trigger on right now. And then I'd say right after season 2, I would start making decisions as to how I want either proceed either with another season of the show, or should we go to like mini movies? There are all different ways that you can go, but there are options. But as Gary and I have been saying, there is nobody in charge of all of this stuff. There's absolutely no one.
But I would like to give the chance to the person who actually cared enough for the first Superman pilot with Superman and Lois, because that pilot did have care in it. The delivery was good. I have to give them that. As much as I didn't like the Kryptonian armor, because it looked like they ripped it off from the Doom Soldier from the Doom game, the opening, how they were explaining about how his childhood, how he was found and all that stuff, everything down to the music was delivered in a point that I actually felt like someone was actually respecting Superman.
Well, those were shooting fish in the barrel type of moments too. There's nothing extra in there. But yeah, they were nice. Yeah.
But then what happens? The day after, or 2 days after, we get the announcement that the Menaces of Nature commenter is going to be producing a new Superman, and we're going to hearing about. Oh, I'm sorry, you're too white for me to save you. It's going to be Superman holding up the Color World paint shop. Paint, you know, like you have different shades of color.
Yeah, swatch of color.
Yeah, the swatches of colors. Going, can I save you? No, wait for the next hero. Bye, I'm out.
Probably. I mean, I understand.
I don't like that.
All the concept with like the animated films, but they've done about 40 of them, and I would say only 10 are actually good out of those 40. Batman Solo Dragon was terrible, and that was their most recent one.
I have not seen that one either.
The Reign of Superman, The Death of Superman, I like those two movies. They were very well done, I think.
They were pretty good. Superman Doomsday was awesome.
Which one was the one where he flew up into the sun?
That would be
All-Star Superman.
That one, I fucking love that.
His molecular level changed to the point where he couldn't stay on Earth anymore, but the sun was also dying, I believe, because he absorbed too much of the sun.
Here's the irony with all of this. Do you know who was actually in charge of all of that in the early years of DC animation?
Bruce Wayne.
Nice guess, but not quite. It was Kevin Tsujihara.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The guy who would eventually operate against a lot of the movie stuff, and I think was one of the big offenders when it came to Justice League.
Keith could probably do a really good Sean Connery impression. Did no one else catch that? The not quite? That was so Sean Connery. I'm sorry,
I'm
but
not
I
quite
had to
money
jump in
bunny.
there.
Or as Steve would say, Black Sean Connery.
Yes, I could
Black,
use
no,
that.
it'd just be Black Connery.
Interesting there, but I don't think
Good one.
Bean Connery? Bleen?
Would you like to touch my rice cannoli, money bunny? I mean, black money bunny.
Yeah, I basically say this for anyone who's watching the DC animated movies. If you see the director is Sam Liu, run and hide because he's one of the. I think he only did one good one, which was like the Dark Knight Returns one.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did that one, and then
Which I did like.
That was a great one, but he's sucked
Peter
on all the
Weller was
ones after that,
outstanding. Yeah.
Whoa.
and he's done a lot after that. I think he's done like the last 7, and they were not great.
One of the ones that I just saw recently, I don't know if anyone else saw this, but it was their Mortal Kombat one, the Scorpion.
Oh yeah.
That one was fantastic. I was very impressed. They basically redid the first movie, but it was way better. There was a lot more character development and a lot more story to it. Like it made sense, and it was So Script, you saw that one?
I saw the Mortal Kombat Scorpion one. That was just a pure Scorpion revenge story against the clan of the Sub-Zero and stuff. That was pretty awesome because like his kid gets murdered and then he goes on his rampage, sells his soul to the devil, that type of stuff. It was great.
But I think they labeled it that.
Hold on a second.
Sorry.
I want to ask a question, and then you guys go on and finish your conversation. The director you're talking about is Jay Oliva. Is that who you were talking about?
No, Sam Liu.
Sam, how do you spell his last name?
L-A-U?
Liu.
Oh, Liu? Okay.
Yeah. Jay Olivia is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Wait, was he the one that did? I think he's the one that did Legend of the Dark Knight Returns, right? And Sam Liu was.
I thought he was the one that did Superman, Batman.
No, he did not do.
Apocalypse.
He did Killing Joke.
Yeah, Jay Olivia did the Dark Knight Returns and a whole bunch of others.
Yeah, Leo.
He's got a huge amount,
and which is one of the first adaptations I took great umbrage with was the Killing Joke, because the whole beginning scene that they added was stupid.
It was wrong.
It was insulting.
Didn't need it.
It was just wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
I would like to see two characters' stories reversed. I would like to see the Deathstroke player who's actually Batman and see Batman as Deathstroke. I would like to see that swap and see how that works. What kind of universe that would have been.
Well, I love the thing about DC, which has the Elseworlds, and you can do a lot of things. I've even talked with Andrew P. Anderson, a comic book writer, a buddy of mine, and Chuck Dixon, about an idea I had of a caveman Batman that deals with early
Dinosaurs?
Neolithic shit. No. There's no dinosaurs during caveman. What the fuck are you talking about?
Be like a Brave and the Bold, one of the Brave and the Bold, and the Bold type that takes.
It's like he's this leader that lives outside the village that protects them, and
he's in the bat tree.
Yeah,
I thought you said caveman Batman.
Lives in a literal bat cave. He's covered with guano.
You know what?
We always know he's coming because he smells like bad shit.
But you know what else would be funny? Batman, but the whole movie is him doing a stand-up routine. And every time he's doing a joke, it cracks to like where he's actually fighting that criminal, and there's like a 5-minute actual video of the violence, but it always ends with a pun.
Right. So anyway, I interrupted you, so get back to it, Yeti.
What were we talking about?
I love ADD.
It was.
We shall call it ADD theater.
I think it was the Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, the Mortal Kombat one. Yeah,
that's
right.
Yeah. Well, what was my point? I just remember. That's right. Okay, so
your head.
I know that they were saying that it was kind of the Revenge of Scorpion, but it really took on a lot more than that. I think that's how they sold it, because Scorpion's such a prominent and powerful character. Like that's something everybody loves. Scorpion, that's basically everyone's favorite. So it's a good way to sell it. But it really took that first movie and introduced the whole Mortal Kombat to Earth system through Scorpion. So I thought the way they did it was just fantastic.
I don't remember much of the actual Mortal Kombat tournament part. I remember him like killing that demon in hell in order to escape. That was pretty cool.
As long as they keep away the Krypton producers from any more Superman, we'll be happy.
From which?
Have you never seen Krypton?
Oh no, I avoided that one.
Good for you.
Well, it was season 2 was better than season 1. I mocked season 1 pretty badly,
with the exception of how they ended it and their use of
the Mercy plant. Yeah,
but their version of Lobo, as well as Brainiac, was the best depiction I have ever seen.
Brainiac, look,
makeup
to me,
wise, yeah,
the whole Brainiac stuff, the final 4 episodes,
I even like the story.
Yeah, that was way better than anything you've ever seen presented on TV for that character, and especially anything they presented as far as CW was concerned.
Right.
I mean, they got
just garbage. I fucking hated it.
Yeah, as soon as I see something on CW now, I basically tune out because we all know where they go. It used to, Arrow started out pretty decent. I was into that, and then it just
2 seasons.
Oh, good seasons, yeah.
2.5.
Oh,
2.5. 2.5.
We have somebody joining us, ladies and gentlemen.
Walter Hamada?
Mr. Tom Connors from Midnight's Edge.
Oh my God!
Wait. How much did you pay him?
I'm Batman.
There's entirely too much Superman love on this stream. We need to get a fair and balanced stream. Oh my God, what the hell is that?
Did you find the Krypton?
That looks like Sasquatch.
I'm here to help.
It's actually a wannabe Wampa.
I'm thinking about tassels for the bat nipple suit, though.
They're justice tassels. They detect all things injustice.
The original image that I got from this did have a bare chest. I had to get them to go full Yeti because it looks so weird with these it looked like there was boobs.
I am fat 66 Batman.
So I am Abby Hulk.
Yes, you are.
How you doing, Jim? I wish I could do Adam West's voice. So many voices I do, and I can't do his.
Called him chum so many times, I decided to eat him like chum. And that's why I'm this weight.
What's up, Tom? How are you doing tonight, man?
I am good. I missed the entire show. I have no idea where you guys are. I haven't got to see the new Superman.
I tell you,
I didn't even know you guys are still live.
This new addiction with gay porn is really annoying me. You got to stop watching it.
Well,
Can I at least ask?
Don't kink shame him. Come on.
Does anyone else smell pepperoni?
Did anyone get a chance to watch Zack Snyder today at the Fantastic?
I didn't see some of that.
I did the live stream.
I watched it.
I saw it on Fat Steven's live stream, actually.
Yeah.
I did it, but it was from the bushes.
Whose bushes were they?
The bushes I love.
How 70s of you.
So now, given his answers, I interpreted it as, hey, I had always said up to this point, prior to today, that Zack seemed to be headed towards just not wanting to do anything else beyond Justice League. And after today, it seems like he's got some ideas. He does have some ideas, and he might be willing to go beyond.
Who do you think he's saying that to?
You got that?
Do you think he's just saying it to the audience, or is he saying it to AT&T in lieu of
he's saying
Warner
it to
DC?
No, he's saying it to the audience, so the audience will pull another Snyder Cut hashtag if this is
to get to AT&T.
Are you all in?
But he's not saying it to AT&T. He's saying it to the fans because AT&T is looking to the fans. Well. Yeah, but I think
he's watching him.
And also, I think he's saying it to Toby.
Toby Maguire?
Why would he talk to Toby Maguire? Jesus Christ. I mentioned this earlier. Why is he talking to Spider-Man?
I love it when Toby dances with that emo haircut.
Roland Emmerich.
Okay, quick question here, guys. Wasn't Spider-Man Homecoming supposed to be lauded as a great movie? Because I started watching that last night and I tapped out halfway because it was boring. Mm-hmm. It was. Which one? It sucked. Spider-Man Homecoming with Tom Holland.
The first one. It had some great stuff in it.
You had to get through it.
It's sort of like I'd like to edit down to just the scenes between the kid and Michael Keaton.
Yes, Michael Keaton was the best part, and there wasn't enough of him.
Mhm.
It was all that. It was all that BS in the high school, and we've seen that number of times, and they didn't even make that part interesting.
No,
it was
they did
all.
not.
It was
Now-
very spastic.
Look down below. Charlie has a good comment, and I agree with him. I like. I don't know how to pronounce the guy's first name.
Andy Tartakovsky.
Yeah, Tartakovsky is an amazing artist, animator, and I love his shit. And I would love to see him do DC animation.
I would love to see him do Dr. Fate.
So he's done like Samurai Jack and the first Clone Wars stuff. Yeah, his style's all right.
And have you seen that new show he does with the caveman and the fucking dinosaur? Yes, in that one, Steven, the dinosaur and the caveman live in the same time. So you'd like that one.
In the words of my
It's
forefathers,
anachronistic.
go fuck yourself.
He would if he could find his penis.
If I can find it.
He can find his penis. He's like he said before. He has to lift up his belly and then look for a mirror.
Yep, find a mirror. I can find it.
So
he has a tattoo on his inner thighs like a Where's Waldo book.
Yeah.
Search here.
All right, gearing us back. I love the jokes, but I want to bring us back to the conversation, which is
I'm sorry, Keith.
You know, I like the is it how do you pronounce it again?
Gendy?
Gendy
There's
Tarkovsky.
Gendy or Gendy, but like I think it's Gendy. So
It's Gendy, I think.
I'm absolutely a fan of this guy.
It's George.
Trying to think of Primal.
Whenever I hear that, I feel like I have to go and help.
Bendy
Oh
over.
God, I lost it. Go on, just ignore me.
That's okay.
Fuck, I lost it.
Don't know where you were going with that, Yeti.
He was trying to Gendy con it.
God bless you and your mentally crippled ways.
I know. God. Oh.
He's the Tiny Tim of our Christmas Carol.
Please, sir, can I have another crutch for my broken leg? I can't come up
Oh,
with
you're
a
mixing
pun.
Oliver Twist in there too. Good, nice one.
I'm sorry,
but-
Gary. Go.
You do it as my chest used to be unshaved, right? You
But
used to
if
have
you've not
nipples
seen
and I had to make
Primal,
me do
you
it.
really need to see it.
Which Primal, the series?
The animated series that Gendy Tatarovsky does.
Okay, because I thought I was mistaking it for the actual TV series where they incorporate the dinosaurs coming in from different rifts. And Primal.
Oh, you're
was
thinking
all-
the British, which is a good show.
Yeah.
I enjoy that show.
Yeah. Well, again, there's a lot of different things that Warner Brothers could do, animation and otherwise, with all of their DC IP. But for whatever reason, again, if I were running things, if I had Toby Emmerich's job, I would be going to JJ and saying, hey, there's a lot of IP here that they've never really covered. We can do Black Hawk. We can do.
Why did you have to say black cock? I don't understand that.
See, and he blames me for taking out the seriousness when all he's thinking about is other man's dicks.
Go ahead.
He is
keep
very
going.
serious about dicks, though. So
Yeah, he loves the
it
bat
falls in line.
Oh, whoa.
Steven Spielberg wanted to do
Go, Keith. Go, Keith. Go.
that
Keith.
movie for a while.
Ignore me.
actually.
Yeah, I know, and it would be fantastic. That's an incredible property, but also Challengers of the Unknown, The Phantom Stranger.
The Spectre actually would
The
be
Spectre would be fantastic.
For God's sakes, give us the Shadow series. The Shadow. You
Oh, they're
remember
working on that
Baldwin's The
already.
Shadow? No, I want an animated
You
series. I don't
don't
want
know
the
what
woke Shadow.
darkness
great. No, they're doing an animated
works in the
series.
hearts of men, sir.
Yeah, come on. The whole movie's fighting Genghis Khan. Come on.
No, they're doing a Shadow cartoon series as well as a Doc Savage cartoon series. Those are in the works right now.
Hey, Gary, you hungry?
I would like to see all of that. But as far as the DC properties go, to me, I would be talking to JJ, and the first thing I would have had with him
would be about
would have been to
racism.
tell him, we should just go ahead and just do a Legion movie.
So he could say yes to your face and then lie behind your back.
He wouldn't even do that. I think JJ spends lots of his time in the alley waiting for someone to come down that alley, and he then lens flare blinds them, robs them, and runs off.
No, he'd just pretend to listen to Keith because he'd be all like, oh, yes, sir. Oh, yes, absolutely, positively.
That black man is so very smart. Please call the cops.
He would probably shun me on a bit. Yes, I'm pretty sure he would. But
Be nice to him. He's a black dude.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he lied.
We don't want the bad publicity.
Because I had to remind everybody that JJ's company was the first one to adopt those draconian bullshit rules that everybody else is coming across now.
Oh, you should not touch people inappropriately. You should not be dismissive. Get that black guy out of here. We should not have any person not, including everyone else. Get him out of here.
Okay, you know the one DC villain. Oh, two actually that I think
JJ Abrams.
No, that have gotten like a real that have gotten some like just shafted in the whole DC universe for movies. It would be Mr. Freeze and the Scarecrow.
Yeah,
I think you could set up some movies.
It sounds like a cop show. The Scarecrow and Mrs. King.
Mr. Freeze.
Frozen
now,
boner
Sergeant
too
Rock
far.
is one that I've always wanted to see, and I actually thought in the '80s. You remember, Keith?
Yeah,
we're old enough. I think Tom is old enough to remember
Schwarzenegger
was supposed to do it, and then we ended up getting Predator, because when Predator first got advertised, I'm like, Sergeant Rock, and then it was like, oh, it's Predator.
Yeah.
But then it was like, saw the movie. It's like Predator's awesome. Still missed getting Sergeant Rock.
But okay, back to those characters because I really want to talk about them. I think Scarecrow was done right in the Arkham Asylum games. They really brought him to life there. Like it was a fantastic way to just show the deranged, lunacy and how he manipulates people through all those different visual elements. But then Mr. Freeze, he's got a big story about loss. You can set that up as a standalone and just show his whole descent.
Yeah,
into
Mr. Freeze
madness.
was a great character.
He wasn't even that much of a bad guy. He was a man trying to find a way to save his frozen wife. He was never really a villain.
Yes, it's all about loss. You're right.
Well,
do you want to smell my candle?
Hey, Batman, Freeze.
I lost my wife. I lost the sandwich on the set. I lost a lot of things.
You like candles?
I almost lost my heart making that movie. No, seriously, I was under the knife.
I saw you, bro.
The Mr. Freeze story is only about 28 years old because he was just a cartoony villain for the longest time.
Yeah,
and he was Mr. Zero way back in the day before I think Batman Adam West series where he was called
where he was changed to Mr. Freeze.
Dr. Shivel. He was Dr. Shivel, the Mr. Freeze, and
you're Mr. Zero.
But no, you have a great story there. That could be a good standalone film. It should have been a standalone character for Batman and Robin, but Akiva Goldsman got his hands on that, and well, the rest is history.
Yeah,
Oh God.
Yeah, that script was written by Akiva Goldsman. It's got to be good.
Shut your mouth. Did you swear there are women present?
And remember to smash that like button. Just go ahead and smash it hard.
I just think overall, there are so many really good characters that they could go with. And there is enough out there that both JJ and Dwayne Johnson can get what they want out of this. But you need someone, first of all, in the position of Toby Emmerich to be, wise enough to go, there's more than enough to go around. I think everybody can get something really good out of this, and we can grow all of it.
You'll never be able to do with JJ there. Like you won't with him doing any decision making. Those movies would be destroyed. It wouldn't work.
They're already going to be destroyed.
I'm waiting for the day they announce that he's the one who's overseeing the DC universe.
Oh God.
I would say we give it 9 months after Snyder Cut is released.
Yeah, because I hate to be the rainer of parades when it comes to the Snyder Cut business. I watched that earlier on Fat Steven's channel. Like I said, plug for him. He the way he made that sound, I'm like, dude, you just killed this movie for any fucking potential with the normies. He's shown it, and from what I gathered, unless I'm wrong, black and white.
One version of it is, yep.
Are they going to have a color version? Okay, then
Yeah,
never
there's
mind.
two
color
versions.
version
There's two
debuts,
versions.
but he's got his own version that he wants to release separately. That is black and white.
And that will come out on HBO as well.
Okay, because I thought that's what it sounded like. Is the version we were getting was going to be black and white, and it's going to be only in the IMAX version. And he's like, "You finally get to see it the way it's meant to be seen." It's like, well, unless you got an IMAX, or he goes, "You finally get to see it at home the way it's meant to be seen." It's like, unless you have an IMAX screen at home, no, you're not. And I don't know. And then he's like, "It's a cliffhanger," and we've been hearing them saying, this is a dead end.
Oh no,
and all that kind of shit.
They
And I'm just
can't
like,
wrap it up in the 4 hours.
I guess not.
What he was trying to say from what I was understanding, from what I understood is that he's saying that there was two visions. There's the color visions for the normies, so they can have all the special effects.
Yeah.
There was also the black and white version because he wanted it from what he envisioned it to be. So there's two versions, and they'll probably come out later. But if it's going to be a cliffhanger, that doesn't mean it's a bad cliffhanger. It could be a cliffhanger trying to state that, hey, guess what, guys? I have another project.
Well, that's what I was talking about. When he actually had the opportunity to add more footage, all he did was just a little bit of stuff. So basically, everything we're getting was originally what he was making in the first.
It's the assembly cut, yes.
And so, with it being and having a cliffhanger, yeah, because there's more story to tell. He even talked about it. There are things in the movie that allude to other things beyond this particular movie. And he's just decided to leave everything in there. Mm-hmm. So my thing is, if this film does really well, is there any opportunity for AT&T to come along and say, hey, maybe we should consider doing more? And I get the distinct feeling that while AT&T may suggest that, I think Toby Emmerich gets a little bit of say. I think he's, and the thing is, depending on whether or not Toby Emmerich will still be involved with Warner Brothers beyond this. Look, let me put it to you this way. If this movie is at least even half as good as many are hoping it to be, what do you think the chances are of Toby Emmerich staying employed with Warner Brothers beyond this year?
He's gone if it's good.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think we'll see with him. I guess I'm not very good with.
But I don't think his job's writing on that movie, though.
No.
I think Snyder Cut is going to give quite an impact. It might not be the impact everyone's expected, but it will give enough that it will make AT&T and maybe even Warner realize, hey, this universe has possibilities, and if we can make this much off a 4 hour, how much can we make off, let's say, a 2 hour? If we're going to make a standalone film.
That's good. I like that.
But I also have to... No, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tom. No, I cut you off. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I hate being the bearer of bad news, though, and I get yelled at when I bring this shit up from the Snyder fans, but it's like...
Don't get yelled at.
You got to remember that there was a reason they did this shit to begin with. Like, again, I don't agree with what Warner Brothers did, but they at least acknowledged that something was wrong. When you have a movie like Batman v Superman and it barely makes $600 million, I think it was almost $7.
Yeah.
It was guaranteed $1 billion film. That's bullshit. Like, and the reason that was is because the normies were turned off by this movie. They got through about halfway through it, and they're just like, this is just an over bloated mess. And again, granted, the extended cut did save a bit of its face in later down the road. I'm not going to disagree with that part.
Yes,
but I still have this overwhelming feeling that as much as people want it to be this grandiose, awesome thing, it's going to feel like Zack Snyder basically doing a
extended cut.
Not even an extended cut, but almost more so just like this vanity project. It's going to feel very, because the way he's explained it to me, it feels like it's coming off very vain. And basically, if you're a Zack Snyder fan, you're going to come all over yourself 12 times. I guarantee you. Maybe 12, maybe 15. But I don't think the normies are going to gravitate for it.
But I think I can kind of agree with what you're saying. Is the way that he's wording the presentation of how much pride he has in the film sounds more like he's jerking himself off rather than jerking off for the fans.
No, we want him jerking us off.
No, Garrett, for a moment, please. I'm just saying. I'm not a Snyder Cut fan. Like, I'm not the ones that yell and freak out, right? I'm a supporter of the voice of fandoms and the fans getting something to see something different.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah, but I think that he might also be doing that just to lower expectations of people so it becomes a hit. For all we know, this could be a type of word warfare he's doing. He's trying not to show too much of his excitement because maybe it's not what we're going to actually expect from how he's wording it, and it could be something more.
So you think he
could be right, Tom?
You think he's pulling a JJ with The Rise of Skywalker?
No. Don't associate those two assholes. Don't. Rise of Skywalker and JJ. Don't associate those two assholes.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Snyder's nearly as bad as JJ.
JJ smells his own farts while primping his hair with a jerry curl.
Because the difference is, even though Zack Snyder may be vain, even if he is, because he doesn't even come off that way as far as towards fans, at least. But he's obviously vain when it comes to his vision and what he wants to do with certain things. The last thing I've ever seen him do is treat fans like shit. Now, he has said some stupid shit, don't get me wrong, but I've never flat out seen him treat a fan like garbage. Though I've never seen JJ treat a fan like garbage, Zack, on the other hand, has made some movies that actually prove that he has some talent. Right?
But Tom, let's go into this. I don't want to cut you off, but let's say that because you also remember the people on the cast that do respect comic books. Ben Affleck's one of them, especially a Batman lover. So he has let's say he does have Ben in his ear talking about how things would work and how it would work. If Ben has enough extensive knowledge, which everyone seems to assume he does have and what he's said, he has a lot of other people giving a point of view of what certain heroes would do, even if they're only a part-time in that comic or not. Zack might be trying to give his vision, but there's a lot of fans in that cast.
Well,
and the ones that have kept their mouth shut, unlike Momoa, pretty much wouldn't have come back unless they saw some potential.
The only one that I really have an issue with, and again, it's not the actor. Well, besides Cyborg and Flash, because I'm not even going to count them as actual
the choke
characters.
point paradox,
not counting those two because I don't really count them as characters anyway. Let's be real here, because they're not even there half the time. But when it comes down to it, I love Henry Cavill as Superman, but that's not Superman. I mean, let's be real. That's my biggest problem. I would love it all day long if Zack Snyder said, you know what, I'm going to make a Batman movie. I'd be like, brilliant. This guy could make a Batman movie, because I saw shades of a brilliant, excellent, not to use the word twice, but it was in that the bits that he pulled from Dark Knight Returns in Batman v Superman made me giddy.
Yeah, but he doesn't understand. And before you came on, I went on my little tirade about that I don't think Zack understands Superman at all.
Yeah, he doesn't understand Batman either. If you lean into the Dark Knight Returns and think you understand Batman after that, you're a fool, because that is not a Batman.
No, and I know that's not. But that's what I'm getting at, though, Script. He can do that Batman.
He can, yeah absolutely.
Which actually is more like Tim Burton's Batman, because that's kind of who he was basing his off of, in a way.
Well, all right, I want to get to some of our chat.
I come in here and I take up all the air.
No, that's okay. That's why I wanted you
here.
That's why I asked.
I have
you
great
here,
breasts.
Tom.
I have great breasts. So
they could. Halogen Helix says they could have done Val Zod, but they haven't even given us a full Kal-El story yet. JJ he's referring to, came to Star Trek and slowly killed it. He came to Star Wars and killed it. Now DC. And when he's saying kill it, he doesn't mean like, man, he killed it. He means, oh, he fucking murdered it. Dad.
They're not making any money.
He's the destroyer of franchises. That's what JJ is.
And then Danny told you so. Unknown Soldier Demon, maybe do some more Batman Beyond. Get a Kyle Rayner Green Lantern, my picks.
Well, if the rumors we're hearing are true, they're trying to get Michael Keaton to do a Batman Beyond.
Yep.
Yeah. There was what is YT? YouTube?
Yes.
Okay. YouTube video going over the script at. Oh, he's talking about what? Where is that? He asked us a question. Hey, Pop Culture Minefield, have you guys ever heard of the unmade Batman script, Batman Dark Knight?
I know
I've heard of it. I don't think it's a properly legit script because you can only buy it, and it doesn't circulate in any of my circles. And I have a lot of Batman scripts. Like I have a lot.
Yeah, and this is his follow-up video. I'd still like to check it out. I'll look it up later. But no, I've never seen it. Keith, have you ever seen it?
Oh, I've never seen that. Again, I'm interested. But
I'm just trying to think. Like, hold on. Is that the Lee Shapiro thing? Because I'm pretty sure that's not a legit contender for an unproduced.
Willie, is that the Lee Shapiro thing, or do you know?
See,
let's see. What's this one? I want Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Flashpoint.
He'll probably get it.
I think he'd be perfect as
He'll
Thomas
be in
Wayne
there.
Batman. Yeah,
That was the whole reason they made him Thomas Wayne to begin with.
it only makes sense.
I agree.
Yeah, and that's one of the few Jeff Johns stories I like. Sorry, go ahead, Keith.
Well, and again, I just think that there are, again, as I keep saying, there are so many good IPs that they could pull out for this. And whether Zack stays with all of this or not, if you get the right creative as far as a person to write the script and the right director, I think you could do a lot. Now, my personal thing is I do believe that there is some talent out there that could actually make a lot of these movies. I am not sold on Matthew Vaughn making a Superman movie for the specific reason that he fundamentally hates the fans. You put him on a Superman movie, you are not going to have him do any interviews. No. I'll put it to you that way. He will not be able to do any interviews. Everything that you like about Zack, everything you like about Zack Snyder doing interviews and working with fans, that's not Matthew Vaughn. He is not that guy.
Yeah,
was Matthew Vaughn from Matthew Vaughn's the one from the DC fandom for the Patterson, right?
Yeah, Matthew Vaughn's the director of
First Class.
Yeah, X-Men First Class.
He did the first Planet of the Apes First Class. He's good at doing first movies, but then for some reason so it's got to be something.
I don't know how to do a follow-up.
I was going to say it's got to be something to do with his attitude. So
he comes out of all of this from having been a producer first before he became a director, and he has all of this attitude, almost near like, "Hey, I'm the best fucking thing ever."
Well, he's got the producer mindset, which actually helped him a lot for First Class. But the problem is that Bryan Singer saw someone doing a better job at X-Men than him, and then weaseled his way back into the franchise and then killed that potential.
Yes. But the thing is, I don't think he would have been able to stay with that anyway, because
probably not.
Matthew Vaughn's attitude towards adapting the comics was, fuck the comics, and if the fans don't like it, fuck them too.
Yeah. That's the shit that pisses me off. That's the shit right there, because you're not doing it for the fans, you're not doing it for the story, you're not doing it for the hero, you're not doing
that's
it
because
for
himself.
He knows he's talented, and that's the way he sees himself. He's like, I can do this. And when you watch his stuff with Kingsman is the ultimate example of how he sees himself and what he wants to do, even though it is based on someone else's idea.
He sees himself as Samuel L. Jackson?
He sees himself as the ultimate creator. He really does see himself as being this guy that can do all this incredible stuff. And if it happens to be something that is based on another IP or an idea, if it has fans, his thing is kind of like echoing Rian Johnson's attitude, which is, hey, it's great that if you enjoy it, but if you don't, because you've enjoyed this other stuff over here, well, screw you. That's his attitude.
Yeah, generally. Yeah. I want to point out that we had 20. We're now down to 19 watching right now.
Good job.
So
it's because
this is our first live stream, and oh my god, get that fucking face off there. A few things that make me want to throw punches. Halogen Helix is talking about something that you, Keith, and I, have talked about. In the past, Snyder fundamentally doesn't understand Superman as a character, which I say that all the time, and Tom says it. I think all of us agreed on that. He attempted to make
Henry
Superman.
Cavill is right.
I want to point this out. When you say he attempted to make Superman conflicted, which he isn't, he is a fully formed hero. That is not Zack that did that. That is Christopher Nolan and Warner Brothers' demands of the script. When Zack was handed that film, and I learned this because of my friendship with that beautiful black man over on the other corner there, we're bookends. Look at us. We're so adorable. When Keith...
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
But do you like my weight verse?
I never talk about you, Yeti. But Keith and I talked about it, and I learned from our friendship that he wasn't allowed to do anything. He was not allowed to change the script or anything. Zack had to shoot it as it was written, because they wanted Christopher Nolan and they wanted Christopher Nolan's script, and they wanted it written this way. They demanded, DC Warner demanded that he be written as conflicted.
Well, they also added in another half hour to the film because originally Zod was going to vanish in the Phantom Zone with the rest of the Kryptonians.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, I don't know if it came from Christopher Nolan's camp, allegedly, that they said, no, we need to have a final fight between Superman and Zod after that.
Yeah, well, that's
and
because
they had to shoot that stupid scene where he breaks the guy's neck, but he breaks in the direction where he would kill those
yeah,
kids.
It was so stupid. Well, first of all, eyes move.
Yeah.
I'm turning your head that way. Oh, I can still look over at them.
Yeah.
Hands can cover the heat vision.
That was what he should have done. He should have blocked his eyes and
taken him to the moon.
Yeah, just taking him and
drain out his solar
He shouldn't
power.
have killed him because it didn't make any sense killing him. I mean, him dying, I didn't have a problem with him dying. What I had a problem with was the way they pulled it off, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
What they should have done is when he was about to shoot, Zod was about to shoot his beams, is aiming at Whedon.
Shoots his beams.
Well, if we had time, I'd sit here and show the 30-minute ScriptDoctor video I did to fix Man of Steel.
Actually, I would love to. We should probably do a watch party.
It's not quite 30 minutes, but
But Halogen sounds like somebody that we should probably include in our group sometime. Kent gives him a love for humanity. Jor-El in the Fortress teaches him how to be Superman. He is not conflicted about the world needing Superman. This was one of the big issues with Batman versus Superman, and I agree. This is once again, carried over. Was it Zack's fault? I don't know. I know that Warner was pushing for this shit, the conflicted stuff. But when you hear Henry Cavill talk and describe who Superman is, you clearly know he at least gets it.
Yeah. Well,
he goes hard into his characters, though. That's what's great. Like he knows The Witcher, and
I said this earlier, though, Yeti, that if you're going to take on the role of Superman, you take on the mantle of Superman. You have to have the character to handle that.
Yeah.
You can't do Voyager, do this show Voyager and quit on the first fucking day of shooting of the series, which Yvette Mimo or whatever her fucking name was.
The French lady did, yeah.
Yeah, I cannot handle this. I must go, fuck you.
What the fuck is in there,
Carter, and then Linda Carter couldn't do it, so they had to go with Kate Mulgrew.
Who handled it very well, even though she's a screechy actress.
She's trying to be Katharine Hepburn.
But coming back to this is, Henry Cavill fucking understands his character. And what I've told Keith all along, and I know all you guys will agree with me, I look forward to the Superman if they get him into the Shazam world. Because that's going to be a different Superman.
Yeah.
That's going to be the Superman we're looking for.
They wanted Christopher Nolan so bad that Warner Brothers wanted to base their Superman off of the way that Nolan had made his Batman films. And that has been the overall difference, and I think a point of contention in making all of the films that came after Man of Steel. And that's what I was saying earlier. You can
don't understand it.
You can have whatever differences you want with Zack Snyder. Good, bad, whatever. But ultimately, Warner Brothers was the one that shot themselves in the foot and created all of the divisions that we saw with all of this stuff from day one. And the sad fact is they were trying to basically appease and keep Christopher Nolan, and they lost him too, ultimately. At the end of
Christopher Nolan didn't want to do Batman after the first one. He didn't even want to do The Dark Knight.
Yeah. And they have now officially lost Nolan now, which is, again, I said was the reason why I think Toby Emmerich decided to just, let's just blow the whole thing up. Let's go with the JJ option. And I think that's what happened. He went ahead and just said, he called up JJ and was like, let's do it.
Well, no, that option was done before Toby Emmerich even got into his position. He has to do that. Like, he has no choice right now. It's either we do something with JJ or we just kiss that $500 million goodbye.
Well, I think he was looking around for stuff. I mean, it's not like Justice League Dark was something that if I think
that's been the worst for like 12 years.
Yeah. But I think he was just picking up stuff that he could find. I think, again, as I said earlier, if this is going to be an Earth 23 thing, I am fully behind what they're doing. If they decide to develop the whole Earth 23 thing, because that fits in with everything that JJ, his wife, and everybody else who believes all that stuff want to do. That has everything they want in one place.
But if they make it Kal-El, we're screwed.
No, they're not going to, because your lead actor, Michael B. Jordan, has already said he wants to play that character. He wants to be Calvin Ellis.
Yeah, Calvin Ellis was originally Kal-El in that version, but he's not Clark Kent. That's the thing.
No, he's not Clark Kent. You're not having a black Clark Kent. You're not going to do a black version of the regular Superman mythos. You're going to do the Earth 23 version of Superman, which is fine. But my thing is, my fear is that they're going to adapt the character, but just sort of superimpose him over Clark Kent and still have all the other characters. That's what I'm afraid of.
That's not going to work, though, because they have to do the full universe. They have to do nothing at all.
That's right.
Because you can't take one hero out of one. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
But you don't need to cut. You don't need to cut one Superman or one Batman or one Wonder Woman out of a universe and bring him into another. It doesn't make sense. You can't even have an opening intro of how that would make sense. You could literally open going Earth 23, a different Elseworld, and follow that, and then it breaks in. This could literally start like a what if Marvel book. You know what I mean? If they did it right.
And it gives JJ what he wants, because he wants his own
farts.
Universe. He wants to have his own. And my thing is, let him have it. Do the whole thing. Yeah. This plays right to everything you've ever preached.
I don't know. That's bad optics to have a short Jewish man in charge of a whole bunch of black superheroes.
Oh, just throw a quarter down an alleyway, and you get to have fun on the opposite alleyway. I'm so right. My mic was on. Shit. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I just think that it's a lost opportunity if they don't do that, because again, it to me it makes sense, and it allows those of us that are at least kind of interested to just go, okay, JJ, here's your chance.
It keeps him out of ruining. He can make his own Kelvin universe without messing up the Prime universe. That's
right.
That's what we're trying to avoid, because no matter what JJ touches, not only does he leave hair in the soup, he leaves a bad trail of of shitty hair.
And there's no such thing as Prime Universe. That's a made-up thing by JJ. There's canon. And
wait. Prime Universe exists because there's Superboy Prime.
Well, we're talking about. I thought you were talking about.
I'm making the reference. He needs his own Kelvin universe, so this stays the hell out of ours. Because every time he touches, look at the Force Awakens, prime example. Look at the Rise of. I've never watched it, but
I agree with you.
He needs that universe for himself, and I think that's a stipulation.
I think he's going to kind of get that because, like Gary was just saying before, like I think you're going to get your wish with Superman being in Shazam, because I think that kind of leaked out and it wasn't supposed to. I think Henry's going to come back, but he's only going to be in like Shazam, Black Adam, those kind of things. He's not going to get his own movie. I think the Matthew Vaughn thing has been off the table for a long time.
That's going to shoot themselves in the foot right there. If they don't bring him back.
Here's the thing: is you cannot have a white and a black Superman going up against each other, because you cannot chant Henry Cavill Superman outgrossing the other one. That will not, and not that would cause all.
No, I get what you're saying.
Wait. Can we call it the yin yang?
Can avoid that and make everybody happy is keep Henry Cavill, put him in other movies, showing up in other places, and he never gets a proper Superman movie until Michael B. Jordan or whoever plays that Superman is done and moved on to whatever else, and then maybe. But otherwise, Warner's fucked up, and they haven't got him on contract yet, and it's going to cost them a fortune.
Oh, it's going to be bad.
But we can have something called the Yin Yang Wars, a Kryptonian story. We can have Michael Jackson doing the opening thing. It doesn't matter if you're black or white.
There's no way they're going to allow it to happen.
I agree with you, Tom. And it's going to end up biting them in the ass, just like when they put out this new Superman. Like, the fact that everybody loves Henry Cavill and sees him as Superman, but everybody knows that he doesn't have a good movie. Like, get that guy signed. Everybody's screaming for it.
Hold on. I just had an idea. I don't want to forget it. I'll let you back to this. What they could literally do is have Earth 23 Superman going against the Brightburn Superman.
Is that a Warner's product?
Doesn't matter if they want to do a crossover, they can. There is an evil Superman. There is that Elseworld.
Yeah,
there is the evil. You know what I'm talking about? Like with all the people at the multi powers, the way they were just doing those news stories. There is an actual Earth like that.
Then you might as well just bring in the actual evil Superman.
No,
opposite, you know?
No. If you can do this, where you can branch another movie property and bring it up, you get to have your good black hero Superman from Earth 23, and you get to have an evil white anti-Superman.
They would never pay for that.
But I'm saying that's an idea. I'm not saying they might not pay for it, but that is something they should think about. I don't see what the problem is between crossing over the Brightburn universe with Earth 23, or even make it the same universe. Or am I wrong here in thinking this?
I don't know.
I
just
there's
see how the
script. Angle
Go
for
ahead.
that.
Go ahead.
No, I can see a good angle for that. You just have to figure out. It's a lot of rights negotiations because I don't remember if Brightburn is under Warner Brothers, but regardless, I mean, you'd still.
I think it was Sony.
I think it's Sony.
Crossing that over, you'd have to create a Sony deal, and that's a lot of other stuff. But the other part too is Warner Brothers might not even have to do that because again, they could just say, yeah, there's another Earth Superman who's taking over the world, and Calvin Ellis grows up in that world and finds out he's Kryptonian as well, and then liberates.
But you just know the script in that one would have way too much of the identity politics.
No, it doesn't have to be. That's you fearing for it.
But that's how they.
But it's not.
How they write
it's
these
not.
Days.
But you have to look beyond this. If you're having Sony, at least with the Brightburn stuff, it's not about that. Due to the fact that it's two Kryptonians underneath all of it. If it's even normies, they're not going to see that. Look beyond it for just a second. Look beyond the political and the race bait and all that crap. You have a notification. But the thing is, it's two Kryptonians going against each other. It's the same thing with BVS, except you're using two Kryptonians. One's actually in charge of Earth, and one is not realizing his potential. It's the same type of story, except you don't have to worry about the ending because it can go either way or end in a stalemate. It could end up with all of that Earth literally having a projector for the Phantom Zone, trapping both of them in the Phantom Zone, so that planet is saved from both types of evil.
No, like I like the idea, and I think that would have potential.
You
but
can't keep fearing everything with politics, though. That's the problem.
No, it's the people that they have writing these days, because you can have those types of stories, and it'll be good. But the way that
editors too.
Sorry,
they have editors too.
Yeah, but they're all pushing the same.
They're not all pushing it. That's what you're saying. We're lumping it all in. Yes, there's a lot of the bull crap. And after the coats, whatever the hell his, but that's why there's more out there. Look, we can't. Then what's going on with CW? That Superman doesn't have the political stuff, so you can't say it's everywhere.
Look at whenever they take that type.
Not
of
yet, but
like Birds of Prey, that was an absolute disaster and a mess,
and it showed
they would go with it.
No, they wouldn't. They know what happened with Birds of Prey. They won't do it again. Their theaters were empty.
I don't think they understand why it failed.
It doesn't have to be up to them to understand.
If every single movie.
Yeti, you're not understanding here. If there was no one listening or understanding, there wouldn't be a fucking Snyder cut.
But that was AT&T. That wasn't Warner Brothers.
That still means that AT&T can fund something.
Yeah, but AT&T.
I'm not going with there's no hope. I'm not going with there's no hope. I'm not going with that. But I'm not going.
No, I don't want to say there's no hope.
But that's the way you're delivering it.
Okay, yes, like if we're talking about this being produced right now, like I think it would take some time.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean we have to get everything done right away. But you can't. Yes, taking time is fine. But the way you're saying is that the way everything is now, we'll never get anything. And I'm not going to have that hope crushed, especially for people that are hoping for something better. Stop kissing ass and looking at us like we're you two, okay? That's not funny.
I thought we had a good thing going here. That back and forth.
No, I'm trying to make a point that there's options. It just takes one person to listen.
You made a good point.
Yeah.
You made a good point.
I'm tired of people saying there's no goddamn hope.
No, I'm not saying there's no hope.
Fucking bullshit.
No, there's plenty of hope in Hollywood.
I was not trying to get you angry at all.
No, I'm not angry. It's everyone wants to go for the worst case scenario. I've had the worst case scenario for the last 4 weeks with Star Wars. I'm tired of hearing it. I'm not saying you're doing that, but everyone at least has to sound like there's a little bit of hope in their voice from now on. Otherwise, we're never going to change shit.
I'm a DC fan. I always have been.
I'm a
I enjoy
comic
Marvel
fan.
too, but I'm a DC fan. I've got hope. I just wish we had someone to put in charge of all this who was competent and who knew comics. I can't think of a name of anyone to do that, unless Jon Favreau ends up getting pushed out of Disney. Then go get him.
See,
AT&T,
I'm still
go
the
get
mind
him.
you could pick up half the people on the street that half the comic fans on the street, and they would understand. They just wouldn't know the backstory. But if you gave them power to oversee the actual storylines to make sure that they're not screwing with that source material, you could probably do it. It's just
if it's
They
like
have to know the
that, then
business
get
too.
me. Hire me. I'll relocate out there. I'll oversee the whole thing.
exactly.
The thing is, you have to know the industry. You have to know the business because you will be eaten alive.
Yes, and that's the issue.
The reason
there.
Feige works is because he knows how the business works and film, and he also happens to be a very serious fan of the properties.
Yeah.
If you only have one or the other, you are not going to achieve the goal that is required to make this a powerhouse. And there are plenty of fans. We could all probably find 1,000 of them that would know exactly how to draw on the best stories and do the things. But to be able to negotiate with the type of people that write those checks, that are the creatives that want their own moment in the sun, so to speak, they will be gutted and destroyed. And basically the studio will look at them and say, like, well, we wasted our time and money with this guy. He may have known his stuff about these characters, but he doesn't know how to negotiate, doesn't know how to do anything with the business. So he's useless to us, or she's useless to us. And that's the thing. You have to find that. That's why Kevin Feige's a unicorn. I would even argue that that as much as he knows about Marvel Comics, it still is probably only a fraction of what the actual fans that go watch the movies.
All right. I can agree with that. All I'm saying is, I even with fans, hope doesn't mean you have to put in expectations. It means you have to hope that there's someone that cares enough just a little.
Yeah.
And if you can deliver the backstory, you can deliver a hero, you can deliver a villain. But I'm going to refuse and stand by the fact that we should all just give up. I've seen enough Star Wars fans already give up, throw out all their collections, give away all their comics because they can no longer see it. I'm not having this happen.
Yeah.
No.
I've seen that too.
It's disgraceful because who are we like? Look at the younger generations. If we start giving up, they're going to see us give up, and they're going to wonder why we still like these heroes. Then who are we going to pass heroes on to? Who are we going to pass role models on to? Hollywood is smelling their own farts. Yes, I get that. I understand that. I don't respect it. I have to accept it to a point, but it doesn't mean that they will not have a fall where someone will come in and bring out a problem.
You know what? I'll tell you where I have the hope, and that's in indie. The indie scene, because you can look at the indie comics online. Those things, like, nobody cares. Nobody's pushing politics that way. No. Sorry, it was the thought. I was trying to think of the best way to phrase it. But the people buying on the indie books are there because they're being given great stories with great art, with none of the other stuff pushed into it. There's where I think we see the hope. And if there can be a bigger indie scene that can make I don't know, the same type of push. Maybe you can crowdfund this type of movie on that, so that you can bring that same level.
You don't even have to crowdsource it, though. All you have to do is find someone who has enough capital. They will take a low-tier hero and give it a chance. It doesn't have to be a Batman or Superman. If you can make a Static Shock great, go for it. If you can do another Brightburn, but the nemesis to Brightburn, do it. I can't. None of us should think that we have to wait for indie to pick up. Indie's picking up, but they're not going to be doing it fast enough or in our generation. There is too much conglomerate and corporation.
Yeah, but that's why I think they would be the actual answer.
I don't think they're the only answer.
Because it's actually fresh ideas.
There's fresh ideas everywhere. They're just getting squashed or taken over by Kurtzmans and reappropriated. Yes, that's the problem.
That's exactly why I'm saying indie, because then you don't
stealing
have those
from
people
indie already, though.
No, but you would be doing it outside of that. Sure, they'll go up and buy them, but there are enough good writers out there on that scene that you could make something happen.
Then why can't you apply this hope you have and the positivity of your voice right now to what we were talking about earlier?
because they just hired JJ Abrams.
Look past JJ Abrams.
But that's the issue. Like, they
No,
don't see
JJ
what's
Abrams
wrong
is getting
with
his
them.
own universe. You're only seeing JJ.
Okay, and Birds of Prey. Like,
That's the thing with the Gina Carano thing. Everyone's only seeing KK.
Yeah. Hold on a second, because Keith has something he wants to say.
Sorry,
here.
I apologize.
No. It's like both of you are making some incredibly good points. I'm very hopeful. I do agree, though, that Star Wars is lost for now. I also believe that Star Wars can come back quicker than what most people believe. I think
change of management will perk things up.
You get rid of KK and her friends, things will almost change overnight.
But you have to cut off all the heads to that Hydra, Keith. Sorry to cut it.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah,
I know.
absolutely.
But it's just like with Star Trek. Star Trek, to me, in my opinion, could be cured overnight as soon as Kurtzman is gone and all his minions. You could cure that overnight. And all it would take is just even a short story in book form could take care of it, where you just basically attach the Kelvin universe to the Kurtzman universe, and then you put it all into a ball, roll it up, throw it over your shoulder, and you're done.
But Keith, there's an easy answer to that. There's an easy answer to that, real quickly. All Q has to do is snap his fingers, and that universe don't exist no more.
You can even go down.
That's the thing that bothers. Yeah, but that's the thing that bothered me with Picard. When the whole Picard writing and how they developed his character into a soggy paper towel, Q and Picard had enough of a relationship that Q would have stepped in and made him realize what kind of man he's become.
Yep,
and that would have brought back to Tapestry. So the fact that Q is still hasn't shown his face means that they don't want to accept the actual lore and logic of what Picard is and who still is.
Of course.
So I think this Picard is in the Kelvin Picard universe.
Yes.
Because he's definitely not our Picard.
Well, period. If Alex Kurtzman in the contract with JJ's production company is intact, which it still is, it is Kelvin. It will never be canon. It is Kelvin. That's the problem we have. You can pull Kurtzman back as much as you like. He's not interacting as much as he was before. And everybody goes, yay, but it's not. The problem is the contract. Mm-hmm. The contract is what holds us hostage to this goddamn fucking stupid Kelvin universe. And we got to get rid of that. We thought that would end the minute Sherry Redstone stepped in.
She can't find a way out of it.
No, because that prick that got fired, Les Moonves, wrote such a fucking amazing contract for Alex Kurtzman, who's a fucking hack, a known hack, a proven hack.
He's a clown.
A complete ass clown. Agreed.
No,
but the guy has a complete fucking hack history. If for anybody who fucking talked to anybody that knows anybody in the business, I know people in the business and they've told me he's always been a hack. But he's got that fucking contract by Les Moonves. And Keith had this great idea like a year ago. He said, you know what they need to do? They need to take out that retirement that Les Moonves got. But apparently he was penalized. Yeah, I pronounced it penalized just for you, Steve.
I liked my clown trick. Stop making fun of my blue Tara guard.
So, basically what you got was this guy doesn't have any. I mean, he lost his retirement from CBS. And I'm glad he did. But at the same time, that was the thing that Keith said they could have used to pay fucking Alex Kurtzman off. His retirement
the contract, yeah.
Exactly. And
but
I wasn't trying to... Sorry, go ahead.
I will say this. This is the most hopeful phrase you'll ever hear with regards to Hollywood, and it's actually very, very true. It's an axiom over there.
Cyanide?
No. A franchise is only dead until it isn't.
Yes, thank you. I agree with that.
That is it. It doesn't matter how much elapsed time there is. Someone's going to have a great idea for it. It's going to revive it. It's going to explode. It's going to bring fans back. It's going to reignite old ones. It's going to bring in new ones. It's always going to happen. It's an inevitability. It's true in literature as well, because, the stories of like the Greek gods and Hercules and Athena, all those things, and Homer, like they vanished temporarily in our history, but they came back. We study them. They stand the test of time. That's going to happen here. It's all about the regime change, and the way the dominoes will fall is once Disney starts losing their influential impact on that, and that's either two things can happen. They either bankrupt themselves, which is probably not going to happen because of the new debt default plan, or Kathleen Kennedy gets sick and tired and just decides to leave the House of Mouse and
or
take
she falls
all of
down a flight of stairs,
or takes all of her acolytes with her.
Yeah,
Because
anybody
once
heading
she's
down
not
to
there-
where she's at?
No,
right
no,
now?
no,
Anybody?
no, don't do that. Don't do that. Sorry, and we've been over.
No,
talking
I'm just saying, send her some
Tom,
flowers.
too.
You can't kill her, because if you kill her, she don't.
No.
You can't kill. You don't need to kill her. You don't need to do that. All you got to do is throw a bucket of water on her, and she melts.
And she's like in her 71, 72, something like that. She's going to be retiring very soon,
68,
anyways.
69, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
she's well past retirement age, even for Hollywood.
Yeah.
All I know is her husband is sleeping with other women.
Congo.
Well, I wouldn't say other women. You could just say women, because I
Real
don't know.
women.
Wait, are these women that have their genitals in their purse or still in between their legs? What, you're not going to say? You're both looking away awkwardly. What the hell?
No, I'm watching the chat.
Oh, okay.
When you see me look away, I'm looking at the chat to see what's going on over there because I'm the one managing the chat. Keith is just laughing.
I had a question, though, for Tom quickly, because you were bringing it up before about the Strange New Worlds, and you were going over the announcements for new shows and stuff. I think that was yesterday, right? Or Thursday. It was hinting at something that when the show ends, Kurtzman won't be a part of it. So do you think that Kurtzman is slowly being weeded the way out?
Yes. I mean, again, it may not be 100% certain, and I don't really have anything solid to go on outside of a few things, but I think that, the fact that Section 31's basically being shelved and they're saying stuff like, oh, we're basically reevaluating and seeing what we got, and that's code for,
he's gone.
When his contract,
the last year of that contract.
Yeah, I was just going to say, once his contract's done, it's done.
So if any show from so for instance, season 4 of Star Trek Discovery and technically Strange New Worlds, if they continue on past 2021, Kurtzman still has stakes in those, but he doesn't have the buyout option,
as well as JJ Abrams.
As well as JJ Abrams.
Still, yeah.
The thing is, they don't have the controlling interest to the brand after this year, so they can control those shows and they can pitch for new ones. But there's no longer default where, say, another production company can come into Paramount, pitch a Star Trek show, and then lose it to Secret Hideout, a la Brian Fuller.
Why is it when I hear Secret Hideout, it feels like a place where they hide their dead bodies of corpses?
That's probably accurate for someone like Alex Kurtzman.
I just think that overall that is good news for the future of Star Trek. But I will again. It's not going to be that difficult to basically just shove all of this into a small box and throw the box over the cliff and burn the whole thing.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, the thing is, though, I want to point something out about all of this. What collects it all together is that about a decade ago, a little more than that. We had warnings in nerddom that the woke motherfuckers were coming for us. They were going to come after our properties. It took place, I think, 15 years ago.
Are you guys hearing that sonar in space right now? Because I'm hearing it.
Well, I started seeing it as early as about 2007, 2008.
I think the first I saw it was right around that same time. I'm thinking back even as far as 2005. But 2007 is when you started smelling it in the industry. That's when one of the major publications pointed out in the comic industry, pointed out that by 2020 or 2025, a majority of comic professionals will be women.
Oh, great. More Grace Randolphs. That's all I need. Great.
And I'm like, what a weird thing to say. Why is that? I mean, it's great that women are working in the industry, but why is that something to be talking about? And I was very curious, and then I started watching the gradual thing, and I think that was between 05 and 07 when I read that. Mm-hmm. And then after that, you started seeing it on TV, a lot of TV shows where people were doing this weird shit especially with parents, and the dumbing down of dads became more prominent in the 2000s.
I hate that. I hate it so much.
And because I was a single dad raising a little girl by myself, and I'm like, come on, man, what the fuck is it? And it's like I used to joke all the time. The only way you ever see a single dad raising a kid is when the mother died. You know, she had to die a tragic death. You know, not like because the mom was a piece of shit, you know, and tried to sell the kid for crack. I'm not talking about my ex-wife, but I'm also not talking about my ex-wife.
Oh, okay, whoa.
But that is a great premise for a comedy. I mean, it's tragic, but it's also a great premise for a comedy. For you have the one mom that's terrible, and then you have the good dad that's trying to, you know, salvage a relationship with their kid.
Yeah, I don't know if you.
Well,
I don't know if any mainstream would do it,
because he just brought up BBC, and we knew they were getting a weird slant towards the end of the Steve. What is the name that ran Doctor Who?
Oh, Steve Moffat.
Oh, Moffat.
Moffat. There was some weird shenanigans going on with that, and you know, it's like they wanted to get into how this is a lesbian alien species having a interspecies and homosexual relationship with another alien, and I was just like, what?
I think I'm going to take my leave.
I was really thrown by that. Do you mean leave the show?
Are you saying?
Yeah, I got to head out. So.
Okay. Tom, it's great having you, man.
To be funny.
Tom,
thanks for having me,
coming, man.
Thanks for having me, Gary, and of course the rest of you. You know, I always love hanging out with you. So, you stole my script, Doctor. You dirty bastards! You couldn't do my show because of yours.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm sorry, man. I didn't know.
You guys asked me first, yeah.
Yeah, you got lucky. You got lucky that. Yeah, my whole schedule got out of whack.
Well, all you guys are my friends, Keith's and my friends. So.
It's not your guys' fault. I thought I would have had something else going on today. I didn't, and everything else took longer than I thought this morning. But yeah, anyway.
We're still doing the Guyver later, right, guys?
Oh, yes. The
phrasing.
No, the guy. The movie. We're doing it. It's called Four Fat Fucks in a Film, and we're doing the Guyver with Mark Hamill.
How am I not a fat fuck?
You're allowed to come. We have a panel of 6 spots.
Yeah, he's not saying you're not allowed to come, because you can come all you want.
I don't want to watch that movie. But
you can come on my feet.
Maybe I won't come.
All right.
Mark Hamill's mustache, you might.
Because I'm going to try to avoid our show going completely off the road.
Not often you get to see Smokey fuck the bandit. Anyway.
All right, Tom, you take it. Thanks for showing up. It's time for us to
do it now.
Rounding up the show here.
Yeah,
we've been over 20 viewers for the last hour.
Love you guys. I got to go.
Love you too, Tom. Take care, buddy. All right, so let's see. What do we got in the comments? We got anything new that we can?
No, but
they've been going off. It's been
amazing. Not MacGyver. She says MacGyver. No, the
McGiver. No, she says McGiver.
Oh, McGiver.
I think she's making fun of the fact I had a Cheeto in my mouth. What the fuck? But the best thing about you guys, especially you, Keith and Gary, is the way you guys both see the way other people interact and have a discussion, and you see yourselves within that discussion and you laugh at it because you see yourselves the way you debate other people. But you don't say anything. You just look like it's a brand new Pornhub video ready to go off, and you're like, I'm ready to go. And Script is in the middle like this. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble.
I look forward to the day when he's allowed to show his face.
I know.
My
I want to
face?
see...
I swear to God, if he is some dorky little nerd with fucking big nose,
I highly doubt that. I think he's about 5'9" and pretty fit.
A little taller than that, but yeah.
Well, I'm 6'4", right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely the shortest one of the group.
Keith is the next tallest, and I'm the third tallest.
So you're his bitch.
Yeah.
You know.
It's weird hearing it from Kurtzman, though, isn't it?
Oh, man.
I do have a whole theory about this, though. I really think the Mayans were right, and the world ended in 2012, and we're living in a simulation right now.
No, I think
that's what's going
I think
on.
2012 is the end of the world. It just doesn't happen in one swift action. It just takes years for it to accumulate.
That's a lie, because Joan Cusack never saved us, and I saw that movie. We were supposed to be in giant submarines underwater with tidal waves. It never fucking happened. I was supposed to be saved in a limo as the earth was cracking underneath me. I did not see that.
I know.
Instead, I got a Segway powered by brownies.
To wrap up this great panel, man, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
we got some serious talking. Today. We've had some fun. But I want to wrap it up with Keith. Keith's lost it. He's blowing snot out of his nose.
Keith, I love you, man.
He's got to wipe his hand now and not look like he blew snot in there.
It's so sticky.
I didn't. I swear to God. Hey,
pay no attention to the green stuff on my hand.
Again how white you are.
Shit. On, I'm out. Nope.
My favorite part about him is you can tell how funny your joke is by how far he's fallen back in his seat.
Well, I've told you that. Like, my goal was to get him to fall off camera laughing. But anyway, to wrap up this episode, I want to thank everybody.
He had something to say, though,
for joining us. I don't know if he has anything to say.
Keith, did you have something to say earlier? Because you were about to say something before you blew your nose.
Nope, I didn't get nothing.
Nothing. We got nothing.
Should I say it for you? Fuck you, Fat Steven.
But I want to thank Steven. I want to thank ScriptDoctor, YetiCast, and of course my partner in crime, Keith Moncrief.
Why you got to put him at the back of the bus?
You just Rosa Parked him. What the fuck?
No, I'm gonna do like Steven and say our black co-host. And
where's White Keith?
Where's White Keith? The thing I love about Keith, before we leave, is the fact that Keith and I have been friends for a while, and this show has always been there for me. It was inevitably going to happen where we would do this. And I wouldn't have done it if not for Keith. And I'm glad that I came along in his life that he could leave some of the other stuff that he was doing to come do this. And I think he's very happy that he did this.
I first want to say to my parents, hi.
They watch, Stephen. They watch. His whole family watches.
Hi.
Oh, my God. Really?
Does that mean I'm appropriating black cartoon humor?
Oh, God.
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
He's literally one of the smartest dudes I know.
He is. When he started talking about Spider-Man, bro, I got
He's
hooked
the educator on
show.
this show. I'm just the fucking fat funny guy.
He's the rice cannoli to his soy sauce.
You've got more than that, man. You've got more than that.
I got a little bit of knowledge. The thing I loved about it when we would do panels together at conventions.
And hopefully again in the future.
Yeah. Once cons are open again, we need to start doing that again. We took it over this last time that we did one. Everybody acquiesced and let us take over all their panels because we just kept talking and people are like, this shit's great. Don't stop. You guys need to do a podcast.
Lorena and I got accepted. We have a Comic-Con live panel for a live Comic-Con in March. So we're doing one of our first ones. Yeah.
I love doing cons, man. It's so much fun talking, interacting with people. And I like that I want to thank everybody that showed up today. God,
we love you.
We've dropped to 18 because they know it's over.
Yeah.
These are the people that stop watching the credits.
There's Cutie Cast TV. Where's White Debbie? Currently at the bank.
And Kate's still here.
Where's Asian Debbie? I haven't seen Asian.
Affirmative. Hold on. I got to put this up.
He's doing math.
Affirmative. Keith is the one who wears pants in the relationship.
I like how he had to check his bra while he said that. That's what Gary was doing.
No, I was itching because I've been sitting here so fucking long.
So wait, well, why are you scratching your armpit if you're sitting? If you was itchy?
I'm a guy. Guys scratch their armpits. It's
but you just said it's been real itchy. You said I've been sitting here so long I had to scratch my tit.
Yeah, my tit.
So how does your tit get itchy from sitting from so long?
Okay, so I've got to fucking end this show.
It's the man's ear. The man's ear is itchy.
Yeah,
it's the bro.
It's the bro. Yeah, it's the bro.
Man's
bro.
ear.
That was it.
No, man's ear's better.
Good Lord, child.
We're just not going to let you end it.
It's just a rowdy bunch of people. But I want to thank everybody for coming to watch the show. We are getting so close to the number of hours where we can start monetizing and paying for new stuff. And my hope and goal is to eventually get back into a studio where Keith and I are shooting together and not shooting from towns right next to each other.
Shooting each other.
And
Just
like
get a lethal weapon poster and throw your faces on it.
yeah, that's what Mikey wants to do. Mikey Sutton from Geekosity. Gary likes using his pits for pleasure. I don't know if I want to stay friends with you. You're so mean. No, I like it. Yeah, if people don't make fun of me, I feel like I'm not loved. So, and with that in mind, with the ending of this show, I'm going to end on this video directed at every single fucking friend of mine.
You two are just dumber than a bag of hammers.
Wow.